From Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, it's the 1984 High School Wrestling Championships. Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, Iowa. Tonight, another sellout crowd on hand to witness the 64th annual high school competition. It started with 624 competitors, and now only 78 remain. This evening, 3 team titles will be determined, and 39 individual champions will be crowned. Good evening, everybody. I'm Doug Brown, and with me is Chuck Patton, as usual, from the University of Northern Iowa. For 18 years, he was the head coach. And Chuck, this is a place of tradition. This is tradition in wrestling if there ever was any. If I came back from a spaceship after 15 years, I'd probably see the same teams and the same famous traditions, wouldn't I?
Oh, you'd certainly see the same teams, but there are some newcomers that are creeping in there, so you got to be prepared to take a look at that.
And we'll see those tonight. We'll show you the team standings here shortly, just to tell you what we mean. How does this tradition here, how does this rack up with the other states in the country now?
Well, Iowa's one of the real prime states for producing talent, and if you go to the national tournament every year, Iowa's going to have 10, maybe 12 athletes that did their prep wrestling in Iowa. They're going to be in that top 6 in the nation.
You get to see a lot of matches tonight. Naturally, we have 3 mats going at the same time. So the Iowa High School Athletic Association has developed a fair play rotation system over 3 years. Tonight you're going to see in our main match the first 4 weights at AAA, and then from up to 145 in the middle matches we'll see single A, and then through heavyweight from there it'll be double A, and I think we're going to start out with a double A match at super heavyweight tonight. At any rate, they'll be good all the way through, and if you miss some of those, that's okay. We have slow motion and we have camera work on all the mats, and we won't miss any of those big events anywhere down the line. We also have some blue chippers here tonight. We have some people going for 3-time championships, 1 in each school division. How about single A, first of all? This is Dean Happel of Lisbon.
Yes, Dean Happel is one of those athletes that comes as the latest in just a number of real quality athletes, and it's a tribute to that town and that coach.
They've won 8 out of 11 state championships, that team. That's wonderful. They have a tradition up at Osage, too. There's no doubt about it. And their latest young man is Mark Schwab.
Yes, Mark Schwab is really a blue chipper. Here's a young guy that's only a junior. He's already won titles twice, and he's won the National Federation Championship twice and a Greco Championship.
Well, they're going to beat down this boy's door, those college recruiters, and they'll beat down Tim Krieger's door this year because he's at 145 for Mason City.
Yes, Tim Krieger is really a dandy. He's pinned his way through this tournament, and he has also made the 155-pound finalist at AAA move up just in order to have a chance to win a championship.
And again this year, we're happy to say we have our veteran floor reporters, Dean Borg and Dick Trotter, to keep track of what's happening on all the mats. Dean, let's go to you.
Well, Doug, I'll have the 1A and the 2A mats when you don't have them on the television screen. And on the 1A mats, one of the matches that I'll watch tonight has a senior against a freshman, freshman Van Slight of Lisbon against senior Ron Helgeson of North Central of Manly at the 98-pound level. And then 2 wrestlers at 155 in 1A, senior Kevin Shedenhelm of Belle Plaine against sophomore John Corey of Coon Rapids. Both of them are unbeaten at 155. Dick Trotter, what do you have in your mats?
Dean, we're going to have a 2A competition between 98 and 119. Then we jump over to the 3A mat, 126, right on through heavyweight. We're going to keep a sharp eye tonight on 2 exciting matches upcoming in 2A at 119, featuring John Regan of Cedar Rapids, LaSalle, as he goes after his 2nd consecutive win against a lad from Starmont Strawberry Point, Doug Strachan. And we'll also see Jeff Gibbons wrestle from that famous family at 126 for the finals against Jay Barantes of Mason City. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, gentlemen. We'll get back to you often. And now, let's show you what's happening here in the team standings. Let's begin with 1A, first of all. Hey, what a dogfight.
Yes, it's not only a dogfight, but there's one of those new names that kind of breaks that tradition. Right up there at the top.
And the same thing in 2A, because I thought Osage was supposed to win this.
Well, everybody thought they would, but here's another new name that's starting to build tradition.
There's only one of these team championships sewed up, and that's something of a surprise, too.
Well, I would say that it's not a surprise to me, but it is to a lot of people because there's a team that qualified a lot of athletes coming in. Seems now that the dogfight is for 2nd place.
Well, here we go. Tradition, excitement. We have it coming up for you in just a moment. The High School Wrestling Championships on Iowa Public Television. We're back at the 1984 State Wrestling Championships. And now let's join PA announcer Mo Kelly for tonight's opening ceremonies.
The Iowa High School State Wrestling Tournament. And how about a big welcome for the greatest young wrestlers in the world from the greatest state in the nation, the Hawkeye State of Iowa. And the Grand March led this year by the Honorable Governor Terry Branstad. The colors of our nation, presented by the Des Moines North Tech High School, ROTC. And now please join the Harlan High School Pep Band, directed by Lee Nelson, for the playing of our national anthem.
That's the grand entry, which is a big traditional part of this wrestling championship. There's the governor, his young son. He's having a good time too here at with the 12,000 plus people in Veterans Auditorium. We're going to take a look here in just a little bit at how team points are scored for anybody who might be tuning in just to watch a young relative, maybe for the first time on a wrestling mat. There's the way the teams score. If you go all the way to first place, there it is, Chuck.
Yes, you're going to score 16 points as an individual if you get first place. Now, that's in addition to any kind of points you might win for winning matches, but the individual scores can be added to if you get falls. So if you score a place in the tournament, you're going to be able to score those team points. Now, here's the scores that you'd indicate by individual matches when the boys are wrestling. There's going to be 2 points.
You can see how you add to your team, too, by winning by a major decision of 8 to 11 points better than your opponent, or 12 or more superior decision, too. And you're going to see how the individuals score along the way, too, the match points. Now we're ready, as you see the Harlan Pep Band. We're ready for Mo Kelly. Mentioned earlier, the Iowa High School Athletic Association presents quite a few special recognition awards again this year. And let's join Mo Kelly now at center mat.
And certainly to add to our 1984 State High School Tournament, it's a distinct pleasure and honor to have as our guest tonight and to lead the Grand March. And I'd just like to mention again that we certainly do appreciate the fact that young Eric and Governor Terry Branstad were with us tonight. Thank you so much for coming. Ladies and gentlemen, during the next few moments, we would like to honor some special folks from our great state who are particularly dedicated to the sport of wrestling and has made that great sport what it is today, with capacity crowd at our state tournament year after year, tremendous competition, and a great nationwide reputation. Let's begin by mentioning that a few years ago, the Iowa High School Athletic Association started an Officials Hall of Fame. We felt it was about time to start honoring these gentlemen who, at very minimal pay and who once in a while take a little abuse, not often, but once in a while, go out in their spare time and work with our young athletes. So we started the Officials Hall of Fame, and we have one gentleman to induct into that Hall of Fame this evening. To present these awards, David Hardy, Assistant Executive Secretary of the Iowa High School Athletic Association, and a new inductee into our Officials Hall of Fame, a gentleman who was closely connected with wrestling for many, many years, some 24 years, 30,000 matches in wrestling he officiated. So how about a nice hand for inductee into our Officials Hall of Fame 1984 from Tipton, Bob Kroll and his wife, Buny. Great friends of the Athletic Association and all its participants, all the member schools too, have been the members of the medical profession. We have so many doctors in our state who have performed for their local school district, visiting school districts at contests for many, many years. And I'm talking about 20 and 30 and 35 years. Many have hardly ever missed a contest. They're always there to provide aid and comfort, and it certainly is a pleasure to present a Team Doctor Award this evening to one of our great friends in the medical profession from the Lorenz Marathon District, Dr. James Gannon and his wife, Shirley. Presenting this award, by the way, is John Gannon, a member of the IHSAA Board of Control, Superintendent of Schools at Emmitsburg. Now we move into our Hall of Fame. We have 4 gentlemen to induct into our Hall of Fame this year. All have had great careers. dealing with the sport of wrestling. One gentleman could not be with us this evening. He lives in the state of Connecticut and was ailing a bit and was unable to be here. His name is Lloyd Appleton. Lloyd never had an opportunity to participate in wrestling in high school because in the 20s, Edgewood did not have a wrestling program. But nevertheless, he contributed greatly to the sport. And of course, he is a native Iowan. He wrestled at Cornell College, was on a couple Olympic teams. As a matter of fact, he won a silver medal in one Olympics. Later was a longtime wrestling coach. So we're going to honor Lloyd Appleton of Edgewood as a member of our Hall of Fame 1984. And here to accept for him is Mr. Finn Erickson of Waterloo. I'd be very remiss in my duty if I didn't just pause a moment here and make this special mention. Mr. Finn Erickson is certainly one of those gentlemen in the state of Iowa who has made wrestling what it is today without question. And he was inducted into our Hall of Fame several years ago. As a matter of fact, within the last couple of years, he was inducted into the National Hall of Fame. A competitor himself, a coach of championship teams, a longtime official, and one of the most knowledgeable men, rules-wise, about wrestling in the entire world. So I think we should just give a special round of applause for a great gentleman who we owe a great deal to for the wrestling program being what it is in Iowa today. How about another hand for Finn Erickson? Finn. Other Hall of Fame inductees this year. Here's a gentleman that grew up in that wrestling hotbed of Waterloo, wrestled there, went to State Teachers College, went to Audubon in 1950, and he's been there ever since. He can't get it out of his blood. He coached there several years, gave it up for 16 years, but became a wrestling official, worked in a lot of state tournaments. Now, believe it or not, 34 years after he started, he's back coaching wrestling again at Audubon High School. A real dedicated wrestling man. Meet Coach Don Christensen, Audubon, and his wife, Sandy. Next up, a fellow that was a great football and wrestler at Cresco High School, two-time All-State in football, two-time state champion in wrestling, coached at a couple of high schools in Iowa after competing at the State University of Iowa in wrestling. Later went to the University of Iowa as head coach. And certainly we do not want to detract from the great record that Dan Gable has established. But let's make one thing clear. Iowa had never won a national title until this gentleman coached the Hawkeyes to their first national crown in 1975. They did it again in his last year as the Hawkeye coach, 1976. And his last 3 years as Hawkeye coach, they won the Big Ten all 3 years. So here's a fellow that really helped to get the Iowa Hawkeye program going. And now he's in administrative work at the State University of Iowa. Hall of Famer Gary Kurtelmeyer from Cresco and his wife Barbara. And finally from Davenport, here's a gentleman who was at his best when things were the toughest. Anybody that's followed wrestling in this state knows about Ron Gray. He's probably one of the top 3 or 4 all-time great wrestlers in Iowa from Eagle Grove. Ron didn't lose many, but when he went for his 4th straight state title, he was beaten by Simon Roberts of Davenport. Then, a few years later in the NCAA, Ron Gray competing for Iowa State, Roberts for the Hawkeyes. They met again. Gray was going for his 3rd straight NCAA title. Roberts beat him again. As we said, he was at his best when things were toughest. How about a nice hand for Hall of Famer from Davenport, Simon Roberts. Now, there's one other thing I'd like to mention here that Cy is very, very proud of, and that's the fact that he was the first black to win a Iowa high school crown ever, and the first black to ever win an NCAA title. He's very proud of that. Standing in with Cy tonight is daughter Dory. How about a nice hand for her? And how about another nice hand for all these fine folks that we've honored here tonight? Thank you.
Well, those are the awards. And
the Iowa Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association always
that
meet
have to do with the association, some of the people who have put in so many fine years. And for those awards, we'll go back again to Mo Kelly.
They would like to honor within their ranks. And at this time, we're going to make announcement of the Coaches of the Year, the Junior High Coach of the Year, and the Official of the Year, as selected by the Iowa High School Wrestling Coaches and Officials Association. So here they are, and these awards, by the way, will be presented by the current president of that organization, Dick Briggs of Cedar Rapids, Jefferson. Raise your hand up, Dick. And Red Owens is the vice president, the coach at Southeast Polk. Phil Henning there, I see, is helping out too. He snuck in on me, secretary-treasurer of the organization. Okay, the 3A Coach of the Year went into our Hall of Fame last year, a longtime coach, 30 years of service. How about a nice hand for 3A Coach of the Year from Iowa City, Clyde Bean. His assistants are Garl McLaughlin, there he is, and Larry Brown. The 2A Coach of the Year. He had a state runner-up at Hudson a few years ago. He's been at Webster City in recent years. Real proud of the fact that he has a lot of competitors, a lot of participants in the Webster City program now. They're coming on strong. How about a nice hand for 2A Coach of the Year, Vern Hill of Webster City. And his assistants are Ray Riesland and Dick Kennedy. And the 1A Coach of the Year, he's been at his school for 5 years now, and all you have to do is look at that scoreboard. He's got a team right up there this year. 1A Coach of the Year, Al Billings of Belle Plaine. And his assistant is Don McKinney. And as we mentioned, that organization also picks a Junior High Coach of the Year. And this year they've chosen from Cedar Rapids Roosevelt, a fellow that's been working with junior high youngsters in the MAT program for 18 years. Meet Ken Jans. And finally, the Wrestling Coaches and Officials group has selected as their Official of the Year, meet Don Holmes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's about it. We've got just a couple of minutes to catch our breath and then into the action. So let's go ahead. Let's clear the mats and get ready. Thank you.
Our congratulations to all the award winners here this evening. We'll be back with our first wrestling, our first weight class in just a minute.
I was in a car accident when I was 18 on graduation night, and I broke my back and I broke my neck. It was hard to take at first. Of course, I was depressed about it. But then you realize you got to go on. You can't let something like that get in your way.
For Nan Davis and Dr. Gerald Petrovsky, most of the initial stumbling blocks have disappeared. Nan took her first steps, aided by an electronic muscle stimulator, almost 2 years ago. In the past, spinal cord injury has meant immobilization and dependence, or life in a wheelchair for its victims. There are no cures for these injuries today, but recent breakthroughs in nerve cell regeneration have given patients hope, while biofeedback and other techniques are enabling them to take their first steps. Continued progress in these areas may create a positive answer for those who ask, will I walk again? Next time on Nova.
Join us Tuesday night at 7.
KIIN Channel 12, Iowa City, and KRIN Channel 32, Waterloo.
From Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines, the 1984 High School Wrestling Championships continue.
Well, here we are again. We're about ready to go, just a moment away from the start of wrestling. We want to remind you, too, that the television coverage of the matches selected in a rotation which changes yearly. The Iowa High School Athletic Association wants to be fair about it, and we'll have AAA matches first of all, but we'll keep you up on what's happening at the other match, too. Let's look ahead. We feel, looking at the scoreboard there, Chuck, and the team standings, that looks like Griswold, a surprise, has sneaked in there, and they have it locked up in AA.
Well, they've really wrestled a tremendous afternoon round when they came back through what they call the placings.
Now we'll take a look at these standings. The 1A, first of all, look, that isn't decided yet by any means.
No, all of those teams in the top 5 have athletes in the final matches. A couple of them have 2 athletes in the final, so that could easily change.
And this one, well, as we said, Griswold has it locked up over favorite Osage.
Well, they have 2 finalists, and so does Osage, but Osage is far enough behind that even if they win with falls, they can't catch them.
And at 3A, this one also is locked up. Fort Dodge ran into a stone wall the other night, and now they're fighting for second.
That's right. Well, it looks to me like Iowa City and Mason City are going to be fighting for second because they both have 2 men in the finals and 3 for Iowa City. So it could go the real fight right there for second place.
And remember, too, there will be some people going for third titles tonight. We'll keep track of those as we go along, even though none of those are exactly in our rotation matches. We're at AAA at 98 pounds. We're going to see Paul Huffman of Cedar Falls against an undefeated freshman of real talent, Dan Knight from Clinton, of that Knight family.
Yes, well, that Knight family has a group of state championships. One of those boys won 1 title, Jeff, and one of them won 2 titles, Steve. So here's a young man that's only a freshman that's going for a championship in his first time into the state tournament.
There they are. This is Knight on the left now with the white knee pads for Clinton against Paul Huffman of Cedar Falls on the right. And there is no score. Remember, in high school, it's 2 minutes in each match, each period, 3 periods long. Shot at a single leg, looks like, by Huffman that almost turned into points for Huffman, for Knight, but it was on the edge of the mat.
Well, you know, it's a lot of brothers behind him. Knight has probably done more wrestling off the mat before he got into the 9th grade than most athletes would ever have a chance to participate. He's got great hips.
And there he came out on top of that one.
That's right. Huffman came in, and he used his hips to knock him over. If there's probably an area where Huffman from Cedar Falls has a weakness, it's on his feet. And here Knight went right to a half and started to drive him hard toward his back.
Going very tough. Well, we're going to take a look at later on at 1A2. That's Vance Light of Lisbon against Rod Helgeson of Manly North Central. Light is the only one to have lost a match this year. And at 2A, it's Terry Schmucker of Van Horn Benton Community, undefeated, going against Skip Styatt of State Center of West Marshall. We'll keep you up on that as we go. Remember, we have floor reporters Dean Borg and Dick Trotter, and they're watching to make sure that nothing gets away from us. This is Paul Huffman on the bottom, being ridden hard by Dan Knight, a talented freshman from Clinton.
He certainly is a talented freshman. He's 30-0. He's got that half in there really tight with an arm tied up, and he's trying to push him toward his back to keep that pressure on. He's got a 4-0 lead with his takedown and 2 near fall points, so he's definitely in control of this match.
He had no trouble getting into the finals, by the way. That was the end of the first period.
Clinton takes up.
And the score is 4-0. He came through with a pin in his first match against Bob Newcomb of Urbandale, and then he had 2 overwhelming decisions. He beat Monty Melman of Mason City and Gary Steffensmeyer of Fort Madison. He rolled up more than 20 points in those matches.
As he wrestles very seasoned, and he's wrestling a young guy from Cedar Falls that kind of has a tempo about him where it's not real fast, but the tempo at the end of the match will be just as good as at the first of the match. And what he's got to hope to do against a young guy with Knight's ability is not let the score get so far ahead of him that his ability to be able to come back in the match with his writing ability, which is where he's very good,
Cradle. Cradle for Knight. And he has Huffman in trouble here.
You see how well he realized he was in trouble right there? He knew that he was going to lose it. So instead of losing a reversal, he just let go of everything, cleared out, and came back out on top. Now that's savvy and experience for a freshman you just very rarely see.
That's real feel. He has added up 2 more points there with that set of back points. He just gave up his first escape. He's now leading 6-1 with a minute left in the second period. This is AAA, 98 pounds.
Now what Huffman from Cedar Falls has tried to do the first several times is put a low-level attack on him because Knight has real good upper body throws and he has good hips. But he got in trouble with that low-level attack by coming in there and letting the hips knock him over anyway. Now here's Knight in on the attack.
And he almost took Huffman to the back right away. 8-1 is his score. Paul Huffman of Cedar Falls has lost only twice this year.
Don't lay on the back.
He's a junior and he'll be back too.
Yes, he will.
But Knight is, you hear the talk around the auditorium that they think here is another super. Here is another big one.
Well, he wrestles with so much savvy, Doug. He has control of things. Now, look, he's in this position where he's got the leg, and he isn't panicking. He's just in a position where he's going to make sure that he keeps his position before he tries to score again. You know, he's taking his time. He's not hurrying things.
Cedar Falls down. At the 1A match, by the way, it's Rod Helgeson leading Vance Light of Lisbon 4-0. That's at 98 pounds in the other one in 1A.
Right, and in 2A, Terry Schmucker from Van Horn is leading Skip Steyert from West Marshall 4-0.
So we have 2 4-0 scores, and here it is an 8-1 score with Knight leading.
And now he's starting to lose control right here. He is keeping the leg.
End of the second period.
Yeah, the time ran out, so he didn't lose the reversal.
And so it's 8-1. There's the Coach Finn.
It's his first year here at Cedar Falls High School after the longtime coach Keith Young retired, so I'm sure he's excited about having somebody in the finals, but not 8-1 behind going in the last period.
Not when you have to go up against young Mr. Knight.
Well, this is where Huffman was at his best, was on the top, and you saw he tucked his knee in there, and Knight wisely, again, with very little experience behind him, but a lot of savvy, blocked the knee and then drove his hips back across him and got the reversal.
And leads 10-1 here with a minute and 40 left to go in the match. A big lead for Dan Knight of Clinton. His coach is very happy about the whole thing, too.
Coach Lueders has had a number of young men. Now here he's got that half, and look how he runs toward the head. He's out there right toward the head. He isn't trying to stay safe. He realizes that his man is in trouble, and he goes out toward the head, drives the half hard, and gets his opponent on the back. He definitely has super potential. There's no question, Doug. You made that mention of that, and he understands more about wrestling than most people do even into their senior year.
A lot of instincts. Do you teach a lot of that?
You don't have to teach instinct, Doug. It's reactions. All you do is just get young guys in there, and if they feel it, they're in great shape.
Look at that takedown
to the back.
13-1 is the score already, Chuck. And this looks like trouble now for Huffman with 40 seconds left.
Well, he's right out where he has to be to get the fall, way up toward the head, putting a lot of pressure directly down through the shoulders.
This is the AAA match at 98 pounds, the state championship match. There's a good shot of how close it is.
He has a tremendous feel for what he's doing. Makes adjustments in his balance very well.
3 of them. 3 for back. That makes it, well, they gave it to the wrong person. It should be 16-1 now in favor of Knight.
You won't see a lot of freshmen with this kind of savvy and this kind of ability to be able to control their body, do the things that young Knight has done in this match.
He's 5 seconds away from a state championship. Who knows? It may be the first of 4. There it is. The winner, Dan Knight of Clinton.
Well, to go all the way through the season, 31-0, undefeated as a freshman, win a state title by that superior margin, would indicate that people need to take a look at this young guy in the future.
Boy, there it is. That's the best thing that's happened to him all day.
I know that the family is very happy. He's got 4 brothers that are in that family, and they've won a championship with one of them and 2 championships with another one. Now here's a championship for young Knight as a freshman.
Now we're going to 1A. We still have a little time left, just a few seconds. The score is 5-3 in favor of Helgeson of Manly North Central. Well, actually, I can't tell if it's 5-7. We have somebody with a photographer standing right in front of the scoreboard, and I can't read the score.
Well, he just
7-2.
Just did a nice job of getting his hips in on that last lift in order to be able to take his man down to the mat right at the buzzer to score the takedown.
And so that's an undefeated season for Rod Helgeson of Manly North Central. How about that?
That's another one of those guys that goes through there all the way.
Well, there it is. Then we're going to get a report from Dean Board.
Doug, that match that you just saw was the one I told you about earlier, and it was the senior from Manly North Central defeating the freshman Van Slyte of Lisbon, and as you said, it was 7-2. Actually, Helgeson took command from the very first takedown in the first period. He had a reversal in the second. Light did reverse him in the third period, but then had to go frantic in order to make points and lost 7-2. Doug?
All right. And that's what happened at 98 pounds in the 1A division. You saw the 3A match. And now we have Dick Trotter's 2A report.
All right, Doug, there was no competition in this match. Terry Smucker of Van Horn Benton Community really took it to Skip Steyer of West Marshall State Center to the tune of 9-0. Smucker had Steyer on his back in the third period for about 12 seconds, but couldn't pull off the pin. Your state champion at AA, 98 pounds, Terry Smucker of Van Horn Benton Community. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, gentlemen. Now we go to 105 pounds. In the wrestling championships of the state of Iowa in Betts Auditorium. 105 pounds. Remember, we're at the AAA category, the big schools for the first 4 weight classes in the Iowa High School Athletic Association rotation system. Every 3 years it changes, so that we really don't know who is going to be the individual in the match when that rotation is set up. It's the fair way to do it, but we'll try to keep track of those off matches, if you please. Some of them have some big stars in them. We'll find them tonight. Well, at 105 pounds in AAA, we're going to be looking at a Prairie Cedar Rapids undefeated wrestler, Chuck Hart. And his opponent is from City High School in Iowa City, whose coach Clyde Bean just won that Coach of the Year award in AAA. This is John Abadi.
Well, the odd thing about this, people should understand, is that Abadi has 3 losses this year, all of them to this young man from Cedar Rapids.
Guess who? Yes. And immediately, trouble.
Yes, the Cedar Rapids Prairie man, Chuck Harden, put him on his back with a headlock, and he's holding him there right now, and probably has a near fall already recorded by the official, because his back is definitely within that 45-degree range.
And real trouble. That's a place you definitely don't want to be at the beginning of a match. Too much time left for Abadi to feel good about it.
No question, because he's in such good position. Harden can just stay in this spot. Doesn't have to use much energy. All he can try to do now is just, work for the fall, but doesn't really have to worry much about losing his opponent as long as he doesn't overdrive the position. Now there he got a little bit out, but as long as he uses his hips, he can get back to him again.
And he did. And he did. He went on, stepped all the way across, and still couldn't make any better out of it.
So as long as you use those hips, they come back into. Now he's just working hard for that fall. You can see him laying way out. What he's trying to do right now is put his pressure down on Abadi's chest and lift the body's head up so that the shoulders will come down in contact.
Harden has not won a championship before, but he's placed twice. And he qualified even in his freshman year as a 98-pounder. This is the year for him, it looks like, although he would like to be able to end it here.
Well, if he wins this match, it's going to give him 100 career wins, which is going to put him on Cedar Rapids Prairie's list of wins, second behind Barry Davis, the 2-time national champion.
And he got it with 16 seconds left in the first period. It's a state championship for Chuck Hart of Cedar Rapids Prairie.
So he's been a winner for a long time. And you got national champions coming out of your program like Cedar Rapids Prairie does with Barry Davis and Jimmy Zaleski. It puts you in a long line of really great athletes.
Well, that's tradition. That's what we were talking about when we started our coverage tonight of the state wrestling championships. That's the match at AAA, and it ends early, so we're going to have time to go down and take a look at one of the others. Let's take that headlock first.
Watch this headlock. Now see it. A body is in on him low. Now watch when a body starts to come up. Hardin has the pressure. He runs him sideways. He gets him to lift the elevation of the upper body. All Hardin does is just throw that hard with the arm across the head. Catches him here in the headlock, and this position remains for about 1 minute and 30 seconds before he finally gets the fall.
And the pin happened with 1 minute 44 to go. We're going to go to AA now because the match over there pits undefeated Jason Kelber of State Center of West Marshall against John Ides of Iowa Falls.
Well, John Ides only has 1 loss, and that loss was in the district finals at the end of the season in order to qualify for this tournament to Jason Kelber. So here's Kelber with no losses, and Ides with 1 loss, and that was to his opponent here tonight.
There is no score here, by the way. There is no score as we go into the second period. That first one had nothing to decide.
Well, the interesting thing, Doug, is that last year Jason Kelber was a finalist at 98 pounds and lost right at the end of the match. In the last seconds of that match, he lost it. And so he was a runner-up last year in the state. His match this year with Kelber, Ides lost by 1 point. Very close match.
All right, let's place them here. This is Ides on top. Ides of Iowa Falls in the top position. He started there in the second period.
Well, he's a very good rider. He tends to be very tough on top. He has a lot of pressure. He likes to tie up arms. He's got length on Kelber from West Marshall. And that length is just like leverage, if people can understand that. The leverage advantage that you gain in maybe opening a bottle of pop with a little short opener versus a great big long one definitely is to his advantage. As long as he keeps that leverage and that length working, it's tough on the man on the bottom. Here, young Jason Kelber from West Marshall.
Yeah, these gentlemen both were second-place people last year. Both were second-place finishers. One of them is unfortunately going to have to finish second again.
Watching they walk back, maybe they'll be able to see the size differential when they get back to the center. Jason is very short.
He's out there in the middle.
Right, Ides is very tall, so there is a difference here in the size.
Ides is a senior, Kelber is a sophomore.
But I'm sure what Kelber wants to do is build up and get up off the mat. There he almost scored it, but he locked back up, and Ides came back in. Good position. Has him locked. Now, if he presses this, he's going to get him on his back.
By the way, down at 1A, Chuck, it's Robert O'Connor of Dyke against Doug Hatch of Dallas Center. And Robert O'Connor, in the second period, leads 6-4 right now. Now, this is AA. We saw a pin in the first period at AAA by Chuck Hardin of Prairie Cedar Rapids. So we're down to able to see a second match. And here it is still zip, zip.
Yes, it looked like Ides from Iowa Falls was very close to having him on his back, but Kelber from West Marshall, the young man you see right there, felt that coming, and he rolled through it and didn't lose the back points.
No back points. There's a little pause here just for a second while coaches.
Well, it's the coach from Iowa Falls. Coach Jones from Iowa Falls is over asking the official, did you signal 2 points with your hand for a near fall? And the official said, no, I did not. So no near fall points were awarded. Now here he wide through. Very good. Sat through and he got the 2-point reversal on that move.
And boy, he got it with 3 seconds left, Chuck. There's the end of the second period, and it's 2-0 now in favor of Kelber.
This is about the way the match went last week, Kelber gained the reversal, and then Ides scored an escape, and it ended 2-1. So we'll see what happens to finish out this match.
Referee is Dick Gray of St. Charles. At 105 pounds, AA is here. Live coverage from Veterans Auditorium. The Iowa High School Championships.
And you can see Ides from Iowa Falls, the young man at the bottom, had a wrist locked up on it. He's the young man with the yellow headgear that people are watching in color. Jason Kelber is the man on top with the white headgear. And he's putting a lot of pressure toward the head of Ides from Iowa Falls. Kelber from West Marshall is a real powerful young man. He has a very short build, but he has an awful lot of power. And he uses that power oftentimes. There he lost.
He just fell off.
Yeah, he lost him, and he's going to try to sit down underneath him, but he lost the waist. Once he went down and he lost the waist, the other man just turned around and scored an escape.
Looked like he stumbled over the boundary line there. That red paint. Well, it's now 2-1, and they're back on their feet. This is important. They have 1 minute and 10 to go.
Well, he doesn't want to stay in this position. He wants to get up out of there, and they did get to his feet.
We said they were both second-place winners last year, and it is Kelber's takedown.
Again, he dropped his hips a little low, and Kelber just drove into him when those hips went down.
And the West Marshall people get up on their feet because now he has a 3-point distance. He has a 3-point margin with 45 seconds to go.
Well, he's in pretty good control as long as he doesn't, get himself in position. Here, see where Idis drops down. Now watch Kelber. When he pulls him into this position, Kelber just goes right through him. He kind of extends him, and he drives into him. And Idis will start to just drop his knees. They're in this position, and Idis starts to go down. He's got a little bit of height, but we're not going to get to see it. We're going back to regular action now.
All right, live action. It's 4-1, 35 seconds to go. This is Kelber of State Center, West Marshall High School. He's undefeated this year in 30 matches. Hustling for a state championship. He's only a sophomore.
Yes, he was a little bitty mighty mite last year when he got into the finals in 98 pounds, and here he is moved up to 105. Hasn't grown a lot, but he's put a lot of muscle on, so he's much more powerful.
Well, at single A, I may have given you a score the other way around there. You fans of Robert O'Connor of Dyke. It turned out to be Hatch's match so far. Hatch of Dallas Center leads 9-4 with a minute left. There's the champion at double A. It's Jason Kelber of State Center, West Marshall.
We saw that reversal by the Idis from Iowa Falls right at the end of the match, but the time ran out before he could score near fall point.
So it is 4-3, Kelber over Idis at double A, the second match we were able to see. And there are still 30 seconds to go at 105 pounds in the single A match. There's what happened at double A. And as we go over here, you find the young man from Dyke on his back with 14 seconds to go and trailing 12-4. That was a 3-point near fall. We're going to get a look, too, at what some of those events we've seen so far have done. Manly and North Central had an early victory and was able to move up a little bit ahead of a couple of teams, Lisbon and Durant, in the single A totals. And they've now 48 points and have moved into 6th place. The timeout here, by the way, is for Robert O'Connor to try to take care of a bloody nose. And at 2A, Van Horn, Benton Community, picked up a few points. They have 55.5, still a ways to go before they can get up close to Gilbertville Don Bosco, which is in 3rd. 5 seconds to go here at 1A. Hatch will be the winner, and he is. It's Doug Hatch of Dallas Center, coached by Andy Davidson, who beat Robert O'Connor of Dyke. And now we're going to have the awards at 98 pounds. And let's go to the PA announcer at Veterans Auditorium for this first award ceremonies.
Presenting the Class 1A 98-pound awards, Coach Ken Fuchs of Manly North Central. 6th place, Mike Moran, Woodward Granger. 5th place, Jim Wood, Farragut. 4th place, Damon Sloop, Hamburg. 3rd place, Gary Hauser, Rock Valley. 98-pound runner-up, Vance Light, Lisbon. And the 98-pound 1A champion from Manly North Central, Rod Helgeson.
Moved his team up a bit with that win. Got him up into the top 6. He can go home the winner. Toughest guy in town.
That's right. Toughest guy in state.
Please stay off of mat number 1.
That certainly beats being all backyard, you know.
Yeah, it sure does. And that's 98 pounds. In the single A division, we're going to see 112-pound matches coming up next, by the way. We just finished 105, and here's the double A award at 98.
Class 2A 98-pound awards. Coach Jerry Eckenrod of Van Horn Benton Community. 6th place, Travis Fresh, LaPorte City. 5th place, Gary Foster, Comanche. 4th place, Jeff Hunt, Glenwood. 3rd place, Eric Hansen, Perry. Runner-up, Skip Steyer, State Center, West Marshall. And the 98 2A champion from Van Horn Benton Community, Terry Schmucker.
That's it there, Terry. Smile. Excuse me, that happened out 12,000 people, plain as day. You'll remember that all his life. Some of the crowd here at Veterans Auditorium. Again, a full house on finals nights, the wrestling championships. We're on Iowa Public Television. I'm Doug Brown with Chuck Patton. And here we go to 3A, 98 pounds.
Coach Bob Leaders of Clinton. 6th place, Monty Millman, Mason City. 5th place, Sean Watt, Ames. 4th place, Gary Steffensmeyer, Fort Madison. 3rd place, Matt Dara, West Des Moines Dowling. Runner-up, Paul Huffman, Cedar Falls. And the 98 Class 3A champion from Clinton, Dan Knight.
Maybe the first of 4 for that young freshman, Dan Knight. Let's get a floor report now from Dean Board.
Doug, the young man you just saw win in the single A 105 mat, Doug Hatch of Dallas Center Grimes, has been here twice before. He, in the last 2 years, has always lost in the first round. Tonight, perseverance paid off. He's the new champion at 105. It was 2-2 after the first period, 7-4, Hatch leading after the 4th period, and he went on to win 7-12. 17-year-old senior from Dallas Center Grimes is the new champion at 105 in Class A. Doug?
And here's Dick Trotter with the 3A. Well, let's go to 3A here. We're going to get the wrestling started. We have 112 pounds. This is a Cedar Rapids, Washington wrestler, Gary McCall, against a young man from the team that has already wrapped up the 3A championship. This is Mike Guthrie of West Des Moines Dowling.
Mike Guthrie is the defending champion, so it's going to be an interesting match for young McCall. Guthrie has already beaten him once this year.
The referee here will be Mike Exline of Charles City. We saw him in our college wrestling series this year as a referee. And they'll be ready to start here in just a moment. At 112 pounds. Again, the Iowa High School Athletic Association 3-year draw has put the AAAs up on our showing in the first 4 weight classes. And then we'll go up to single A for the middle 4. Here we go. This is Dowling in the light uniform, and it's already Mike Guthrie up by 2.
And McCall from Cedar Rapids came in just a little bit too far out, got himself a little extended, and Guthrie with good hit caught him, flipped him over to his back, but didn't catch him there, but did get the 2-point takedown.
Now over at 1A, we have Daryl Hamblin of Janesville wrestling Shane Baum of Belmont for the championship. We'll keep our eye on that. And at 2A, it's Greg Hargrave of Louisa Muscatine Letts against, boy, a super young wrestler, they tell us, Mark Schwab of Osage.
In our match, Doug, young McCall from Cedar Rapids already has reversed Guthrie from Des Moines Dowling, so the score is now 2-2.
Chuck, I said I was never going to use the word super on the air, and I've used it twice already tonight. That's what kind of tournament it must be, huh?
It's really an outstanding tournament. There's been some great matches leading into these finals, and we have some real talent out here tonight.
And the score here is 2-2.
That's true. Well, Guthrie caught him on a roll when he was being driven a little bit too hard. And Gary McCall from Cedar Rapids, Washington, got a little bit high. Guthrie rolled him and reversed him for the reversal.
Score is 4-2. Again, once in a while, because there are 3 mats going, it's difficult to see the scoreboard sometimes. There's always somebody who wants to sit down right in front of the score. Switch.
Yes, he still got the leg. Now, he did a real good job there of pulling out of the switch and cutting across the double. Look how well his hips come in. Real good job of executing the lift once he got in deep on that. didn't lose the reversal. Now he's in great position. And if he had a little more mat to use, he'd probably elevate that leg and try to drive him toward his back. You know, if Guthrie from Dowling already has the school record from Des Moines Dowling High School with 122 wins. He's only got 5 losses in his career, so he really has a tremendous background in winning, and he's been in these finals before.
There's Gary McCall, who's a junior. He'll be back again. He qualified last year. Lost early. Made it to the finals this year.
As I said, they have wrestled earlier with Guthrie from Dowling, the young man on top with a 4-2 lead, winning that match. But McCall is doing a great job here of keeping the pressure on him by continuing to move.
4-2 is the score with 30 seconds to go in the first period. Quite a record, all those wins, when you consider some of the wrestlers that have come out of Dowling in the last 5 or 6 years.
That's the truth. He just has a tremendous background in winning. He's got 33 wins already this year. So if he wins this match, it's 34. Of course, McCall certainly is going to make every effort to prevent that. And he's doing a great job in this match of keeping the pressure on him.
At 112 pounds in the 1A division right now, by the way, Daryl Hamlin of Janesville leads Shane Baum of Belmont 2-0 with about, the second period has just started down there.
And in 2A, Mark Schwab from Osage is leading Greg Hargrave from Louisa Muscatine 4-1.
And we're at AAA right now, and you see the man putting the pressure at the end of the period there, Mike Guthrie of West Des Moines Dowling. We go to the second period. It's 4-2 in favor of Guthrie.
Red's choice.
McCall gets his choice.
Red up.
You heard Mike Exline say that he will take up.
Let's go.
I don't believe that's Coach Turner. That's the assistant coach.
Stay still now.
But it gave him credit for it.
You bet. Cedar Rapids, Washington. Now here's McCall, chance to be on top, and he caught Guthrie on his back.
He certainly did. He tried to come out and do a little elevator roll. McCall drove back into him and caught him on his back, and he's got some near fall points out of this. You don't signal near fall points until the man is out of the danger position, so the referee is holding him down by his side yet until he gets out of this, because you can't score near falls. More than one of them with the same position. He hasn't come out of that position.
Now what does Guthrie have to do to get out of here?
Well, what Guthrie's got to do first is get his arm free. He's doing a good job right now just maintaining his position. As soon as he starts to get his arm free, he can try to get out. He must get back and build back off of that first. And you can see his other arm trying to work the arm free. Now his arm is free. Now you can see him start to wrestle again. McCall should keep the pressure on him and toward the head. And he did get 3 near fall points out of that, Doug, so he's leading now 5-4.
By the way, Mark Schwab of Osage has upped his lead against Greg Hargrave of Louisa Muscatine Letts to 11-2 down at AA. So we're back to the center with a minute to go in the second period. A good match.
There's Coach Turner right there. That's the right guy from Cedar Rapids, Washington. This is his first year at Washington High School. Now there's an attempted Granby roll by Guthrie, and he's got the leg lock, but he doesn't have the arm. So as long as McCall from Washington can keep the hips in, he can maintain his position.
And he did. And now has Guthrie flat.
Yes, and he has an arm behind the back, and he's lost the base. So young McCall from Cedar Rapids, Washington's in good position right here. As long as he can maintain that, keep the pressure in there, he's in pretty good shot.
Like he got a shot of adrenaline there when he caught Guthrie on his back.
Well, he's wrestling very tough on top, keeping his man off his base. And you can see one of the hard things to do is execute any kind of move for scoring when you've lost your base and you're laying out flat.
We have 15 seconds to go in the second period. This is 112 pounds, AAA.
Young Gary McCall does a real good job of getting arms. Now, you can see what he's got right now. He takes the arms away well and puts them behind your back or gets into what we call bar arms or chicken wings. He does a good job of that. And he's done that so far most of this match with Guthrie, and has maintained his lead.
That's the end of the period. It's still a shutout, by the way, in single A. Daryl Hamlin of Janesville leads Shane Baum of Belmont 4-0 in single A at 112.
There's Coach Dara. I'm sure he's got a lot of things he wants to tell his young man. He's telling him you're down by 1 point.
This is the period that's going to tell the story.
We're going to see if he's going to try to turn him to his back or if he's going to try to release him and let him go and tie it. He's probably going to try to turn him for a while. And if he can maintain that pressure and get the turn, that would get him back in the lead. And if he can't, we may see him cut him loose. That's what Coach Darrow was trying to tell him.
Called that a stalemate with 1:42 to go. And they'll go back to the center again. Well, one nice thing I must say is, as broadcasters of wrestling meets, it's a lot easier when you don't have to keep track of riding time. And in high school, you don't have to keep track of riding time. They don't keep it.
They see, just intentionally released him there. Makes it 6-4. Oh, it came right back in. Now, that was good technique on McCall's part. He didn't wait around, came right back. And I don't know if he gave it to you or not. We couldn't see it. He just had a little bit of a whizzer hanging in there. But that's what McCall wants to do, is maintain the offensive pressure.
I would say that Mike was lucky not to lose the takedown there. It's 6-4 in favor of McCall.
Yes, they didn't have the point up on the screen yet because he just scored the escape. Well, here you'll see what a state champion does. What he's going to try to do, because this is why he's a winner. He's going to try to keep the pressure on him. And young Gary McCall from Cedar Rapids, Washington, is carrying the fight to him. He's going back at it.
We have less than a minute to go.
That's what he wants to do to maintain and control in this match, is to keep the pressure on him. Not get in a hurry, just keep the pressure on him. There, he got a little bit of a position.
And it's a draw now, 6-6 with 45 seconds to go.
See, that's one of those ones where just a little bit of patience. He had the position, but he kind of drove right through it and lost position, and Guthrie outbalanced him and whipped him off the side. So now it's tied 6-6.
Hey, you got him tied up. Get out.
What would you do here? Do you dare cut it? You can't cut him loose at this point. It's 20 seconds to go.
No, he's got to stay in the tight pressure position. He's got to be able to keep his man down there, try to maintain the tie, and go into an overtime, see if he can't win it on overtime. Courage, conditioning.
Now, here's a big moment. Here's a big moment. We've talked about what it means to get off on the whistle. And this is important because it's a state championship with 15 seconds to go.
See, here's Guthrie coming, or McCall coming in. He just came up a little too high, and Guthrie threw him over the top.
Well, we missed the whistle there, but actually nothing happened. But there is a reversal by McCall with 5 seconds to go.
He got that, and he got it real good because the arm stayed around the waist, and he used that leverage around the waist to switch his man.
A beautiful switch by Gary McCall of Cedar Rapids, and he got a little revenge with that and a state championship to boot.
He sure did. He's a very happy young man. He got that reversal with 5 seconds to go.
That was a good, competitive, exciting match. It went right to the last 5 seconds. And Gary McCall came through. Those are the 112-pound matches. We're going to get the awards now at 105 pounds. And we'll begin with the Class A winners.
Presenting the Class 1A 105-pound awards, Coach Andy Davidson of Dallas Center Grimes. 6th place, Troy Kenyon, Greenfield. 5th place, Lamont Schmid, Kingsley Pearson. 4th place, Kelly Fox, Guthrie Center. 3rd place, Kevin Weedo, Coastville. Runner-up, Robert O'Connor, Dyke. And the Class 1A 105-pound champion from Dallas Center Grimes, Doug Hatch.
From Dallas Center. He's the champion at 105 pounds. And again, you see an activity down at the awards end. We've had 98 pounds. We'll have the second of the 105-pound awards coming up now. This will be for AA.
Awards, Coach James Steyert of State Center West Marshall. 6th place, Lee Hilligus, Brooklyn, BGM. 5th place, Dan Sinat, Albia. 4th place, Scott Mangrich, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. 3rd place, Mick Harding, Emmetsburg. Runner-up, John Eitz, Iowa Falls. And the Class 2A 105-pound champion from State Center West Marshall, Jason Kelber.
Well, that's a little bit of revenge for Coach Steyer. His son was the loser in the 98-pound finals, and here's his 105-pounder winning the championship after being in the finals last year and losing, so I'm sure he's happy with that.
Sure. A little happiness, take the bad with the good, I guess.
It happens that way in sports, doesn't it, Doug?
Yeah, it sure does. We'll have 119 pounds next. We're going to get the awards now at 105 for AAA.
Prairie Cedar Rapids. 6th place, Tom O'Leary, Ottumwa. 5th place, Craig Sexton, Southeast Polk Runnels. 4th place, Steve Swanson, Davenport West. 3rd place, Craig Wagner, Bettendorf. Runner-up, John Abadi, Iowa City High. And the 3A 105-pound champion from Prairie Cedar Rapids, Chuck Harden.
And he did it impressively. Let's get a floor report from Dean Borg.
Doug, the champion at 112 pounds in the Class A mat, is an 18-year-old senior from Janesville, Darrell Hamlin. He won over Shane Baum of Belmont 6-3. Actually, Hamlin dominated the match completely. He was leading 2-0 after the first period, 4-0 after the second period. He got hit with a stalling call and then was reversed in the final period, but scored some back points and came back to win 6-3. So the champion is Darrell Hamlin of Janesville. Dick Trotter?
All right, and in the 112-pound division in AA, we saw the Mean Green Machine in Mark Schwab, a junior who has won now 3 consecutive state titles at 112-pound. He won it first at 82, then at 83, and again tonight at 112 as he rolled over Greg Hargrave of Louisa Muscatine, 19-2. Back to you, Doug.
And he's only a junior. Yes, sir. The recruiters are lining up already.
They certainly will be.
At 119 pounds, this will be the last of our rotation with the AAAs. We're going to run up here against 2 young men from Waterloo. One of them from Columbus High School. He'll be Derek Woods. And the other from East Waterloo, Chuck Pearson. The referee will be Dale McDonough from Fort Dodge. You saw the young man from Dallas Center up on the stand there at 105 pounds, Doug Hatch. He just added to his first place team total 61 points for Dallas Center at 1A. And that gives him a 5-point lead over Belle Plaine now there. And Osage, with Schwab's win, picked up a few points, but they are not going to be able to find enough, are they?
No, I don't think so.
Griswold's got it locked up at AA. Here we go, 119 pounds. Derek Woods of Waterloo, Columbus. He has his back to you. He's now on the right. And Chuck Pearson from East Waterloo, who is circling around with him in the center.
Chuck Pearson from East Waterloo has been into this tournament 4 times. He's a 4-time qualifier, and he's placed twice. Also, these young men have wrestled each other continually in the last 3 years because they're right across town from each other and they meet each other in a variety of tournaments.
At 119 pounds, we have Dave Vogt of Gilmore City Bradgate against Dean Happel of Lisbon, who's going for his 3rd championship. We'll keep track of that for you. That's at 1A. At 2A, Doug Stryker of Starmont Strawberry Point against John Regan of Cedar Rapids LaSalle, who's undefeated, and you can see Regan on top already. And Regan is also a defending champion. This is AAA. Pearson on the leg. Doesn't look very solid.
Derek Woods from Waterloo, Columbus wrestled 2 overtimes to get into this match. And one of those overtimes went down to referee's decision. So
that was his first time out.
Yeah, he's earned his way here, I'll tell you, that's for sure.
And his 3rd match was a 4-2 win. So he's been winning the close ones.
Pearson is a real good thrower. He hip tosses and headlocks very well. There you saw him get the throw or the hip toss, but he just lost room on the mat, didn't quite have enough, might have got into his back with it.
He had to walk it all the way out of bounds.
What Pearson from East Waterloo does such a good job of is when you come to him, if you come with any kind of distance at all, he catches you and then uses his hips to throw you sideways. You know, he's going to put a lot of pressure on Woods. There's a little bit of fear. Now, Woods is doing a good job there with his shots. Even though it's not good technique, he's coming in low because he knows that Pearson has those throws. Now, Pearson's trying to pull him back into the center, you know, to keep him from the edge.
And again, that low-level shot by Derek Woods, which hasn't penetrated at all yet. There is no score here with 27 seconds to go in the first period.
Well, Woods from Waterloo, Columbus is a better rider than anything else, and I'm sure what he's seeing is an attempt to try to get out of this first period without getting a lot of points scored against him. That's what's happened to him in the past. You know, he's lost points on the takedown to his back for near falls. And so what he wants to do is if he's going to lose anything, lose it just on a takedown and no near fall points. Then put a lot of pressure on the Pearson from East Waterloo with the ride.
Call that a double fall down there.
Well, he came at him. He came at him with a little bit of a fake, and Pearson wisely just tried to throw his legs back to avoid it, but Woods didn't penetrate it, so it looked like it was a double fall.
We've come to the end of the first period here, and we're going to show you the team standings in AAA. West Des Moines Dowling does have it locked up, as you can see. Mason City in second, Fort Dodge third. Iowa City High School has something to say, though, because we have 3 wrestlers yet to see from that school. Two from yet to go.
Cover.
Now back to the AAA, 119-pound second period.
Caution,
and
tap.
it's
Caution,
Woods on
tap.
top,
Get in
who just
behind the
got
elbow.
cautioned.
Get in behind the
Waterloo
elbow.
Columbus.
Caution,
Chuck
tap,
Pearson
man.
of East Waterloo on the bottom. No score.
They started to move a little bit fast there with a jam on the arm to try to drive him down. What Pearson's going to try to do is get up off the mat. You know, he doesn't want to stay down with it because Woods is such a good rider. He's going to try to keep elevation moving his way. He wants to get up and not let Woods break him down and keep him down on the mat. And of course, Woods wants to do just the opposite. He's going to try to put him down and put a lot of pressure on him.
Pearson really hasn't had a close match yet in the state tournament. He's won 12-2, 10-4, and 13-6.
Well, he's caught people with those throws, with those hips. Here he's trying to get to his feet, and that's, again, what he wants to do, is be able to maintain changing of altitude. He wants to continue to get up and avoid that position. Now, there he reacted to the legs very well, and Woods is doing a good job of coming back to him.
We have a really tough go for Dean Happel, who's trying to win his 3rd title at 119 pounds in single A. It's 2-2. Happel against Dave Vogt of Gilmore City, Bradgate.
Well, it's not working out that way in double A. John Reagan, the defending state champion, is beating Doug Stryker from Starmont 12-2.
And there's a change. That's a reversal for Pearson.
Well, he got the change of height right there. He got to his feet, and then he controlled the hips and lifted in order to score the reversal and get ahead by 2 points.
Time, 50 seconds to go, second period. 2-0. Pearson of East Waterloo coming back. He's in the center. And Derek Woods, you see him coming up there on the left.
Face this way. Turn around, man. We got to face this way.
That's right. The camera's this way, fellas.
Pearson in a normal match might release his man and try to take him to his back. Because Woods has wrestled him differently, it'd be interesting to see the strategy in this match progress. Woods came across him there, got his hips up and over. Pearson used his hips to come back across him, but that was close to a reversal.
It was, but it's still 2-0, and Pearson leads.
What he can't do is lay down right here, Doug. If he wants to be in this match, he has to maintain arm control and position with his hips. He lost his hips, and then when he lost the hips, then he lost the arm. So now he's in a little bit of trouble, tied up, broken down. And Pearson's put a lot of pressure toward his head, so it's hard to get back to base that way.
So they'll have to have a fresh start on the whistle as they go out of bounds. Time, 21 seconds to go in the second period of 3.
He's holding the score in there in pretty good shape. Young Derek Woods from Waterloo, Columbus. He's only a junior, and having 3 years of experience wrestling Pearson, he probably has as much knowledge of how to compete against him as anybody does.
It's still 2-2, by the way, at 1A. Dean Happel of Lisbon and Dave Vogt of Bradgate. And Happel started the 3rd period on the bottom. Out of bounds, that took just a couple of seconds, but Pearson still leads. 2-0.
Time goes by very slowly when you continue to go out off the mat like that all the time. You know, that thing took 3 or 4 seconds, so they continue to do that. Seems like a match drags on forever, but it's kind of a strategy match. So there he lifted the hips to try to take him down, but again, they traveled all the way to the edge of the mat. Didn't lose him, but he went off, and 7 seconds went by in the process. So
compressed a little of Derek Wood's spine there, I think. That was about all that came out of that. Chuck Pearson of East Waterloo, he used only 5 seconds in that last series.
Well, his team won the state title last year, Doug, and he was one of those young men that has finished second in state, so he's been in the finals before. Oftentimes that makes a little difference in your savvy and your experience.
End of the period. That's the end of the period.
3 now. Red down.
By the way, Happel just took a 4-2 lead in the 1A match with 30 seconds to go.
Yes, in that other match, John Regan is winning 18-4 when the match ends. So he has an 18-4 win over Doug Stryker.
Here we are at AAA, and again, Pearson started on top. He's done a good job of riding ever since he got the reversal early in the second period against Woods.
Well, the match stays too close. Now, what he wants to do out of this hip tilt position is he wants to maintain...
Nicely done.
Wants to maintain some kind of control of the arm and the waist as he lifts the hips.
And he got two on the hip tilt. He's going to get another one, I think. Oh, he's racking them up. That's 2 near falls.
He just got 2. All he had is 2.
Did he give him just 2? I don't know if he considered those 2 separate ones. I don't think he did. 4-0.
I think that he had scored the initial 2, but the mat judge who was looking at it from the outside, kind of being objective about it. And the official sometimes gets caught up in it. He saw the near fall, and he really, as the man came back to his face, he awarded the points, but the man never released it. So he still had the same pinning situation, and he only scored 2 instead of 4 near fall points.
Well, Pearson's doing a really good job on top. He leads 4-0. At AA, by the way, we gave you that score. It was Regan 18 and Stryker 4. And Happel won at single A too, 4-2. And that's his 3rd state championship. 3rd state championship. He joins a great group.
That's Lisbon High has produced a lot of those double and triple winners. They even have a 4-timer from there.
This is Derek Woods on the bottom. He's from Waterloo, Columbus, and Pearson has been giving him a tough ride. Woods has not been on top since early in the second period.
There's Coach Knipp from Waterloo East.
He hasn't had much to complain about yet this period. 4-0.
No, he hasn't. His young man's wrestled. He's wrestled hard. He's wrestled tough against this young man so far. Just a little lift on the hips when Woods from Columbus got to his feet, and then back down to the mat. Now he's out to the side and driving the hips and driving the arm, putting pressure on him. He's trying to get the arm. What he wants is the arm up behind the back, or he wants to step in between the legs. What officials look for anymore, Doug, is the man on top trying to pin the man, or is he just trying to stay in behind him? And you heard the official there maybe say use it. In other words, don't just stay in behind and ride him and try to win, but you got to get out and make an effort to turn him over.
36 seconds to go as they go out of bounds. It's 4-0. Pearson leads. AAA, 119 pounds. On Iowa Public Television's coverage of the State Wrestling Championships of Iowa.
Now, any athlete probably has been coached through these kinds of situations. When you're ahead by 4 points and there's not very much time left, the one thing you don't do is give up a 4 or 5 point move. In other words, you don't get side rolled to your back. And in order to stay out of that side roll position, you pretty much have to stay very perpendicular on the man and stay out of his waist so he doesn't have your arm to use against you. You can give up an escape. You can even give up a takedown.
Right.
But you can't give up the point that takes you to your back when you get reversed. So I'm sure that's what Pearson's thinking. Keep those hips down, keep a lot of pressure on his head, and stay out of that waist where the man can get your arm. See there, he's in the crotch.
Now, his first move, he's twice now put Woods down flat, and he's used up 15 seconds already. And there are only 10 left to go.
Well, he's putting a lot of pressure on him. No question about that. Woods has lost his base.
Watch the arm. Watch the arm.
This is really a fine, impressive performance by Chuck Pearson of East Waterloo. He is the state champion. There is the end of this AAA match at 119 pounds.
Kind of matter of fact for him, wasn't it? But it really was a little harder than that.
Yes, it was. He got a reversal right at the beginning of the second period and got a tip early in the third. And the 2 young men from Waterloo, the end of 119. Now we're going to go down to the award ceremony area to see the winners, the top 6 places. First of all, at single A for 112 pounds.
Presenting the Class 1A 112-pound awards, Coach Don Mortimer of Janesville. 6th place, Chris Eblin, Greenfield. 5th place, Jeff Turkle, Durant. 4th place, Brian Byers, Harris Lake Park. 3rd place, Lonnie Ferguson, Dallas Center Grimes. Runner-up, Shane Baum, Belmont. and the 1A 112-pound champion from Janesville, Darrell Hamlin.
Well, there's a coach and an athlete that I'm sure are very excited and very proud.
Yeah, you'll see 39 different people showing you how to be happy. Too bad they're going to be only one. Well, actually, one wins, but they all win, as they say. Now we're going to go to AA. This is 112-pound award ceremonies.
Presenting the Class 2A 112-pound awards, Coach Bill Andrew of Osage. 6th place, Grant Eckenrod, Van Horn Benton Community. 5th place, Troy Bales, Clear Lake. 4th place, Steve Hamilton, Emmetsburg. 3rd place, John Anderson, Waukee. Runner-up, Greg Hargrave, Louisa Muscatine Letts. And the 2A 112-pound champion from Osage, Mark Schwab.
Tell you what, come back next year, you may see him a 4-time champion.
He's earned it. He's earned it. He wrestles all the time.
A lot of talent there. That's one of the real blue chippers in the country, Mark Schwab of Osage. Osage, Iowa. Full house tonight at Veterans Auditorium. Now watching the winners awarded at 112 pounds for AAA.
Kelly Davis, Dubuque Hempstead. 5th place, Keith Chandler, Clinton. 4th place, Matt Anderson, Waverly Shell Rock. 3rd place, Steve Waddell, Bettendorf. Runner-up, Mike Guthrie, West Des Moines Dowling. And the 3A 112-pound champion from Cedar Rapids, Washington, Gary McCall.
Nice job, Gary. And we're now going to have a floor report from Dean Board.
Well, Doug, Dean Happel of Lisbon did close out his high school career with a 3rd consecutive state championship, but it came down to the final 38 seconds before he did it. The score was tied 2-2 after the first period, still tied 2-2 after the second, to the final 38 seconds of the 3rd period when Happel reversed Dave Vogt of Gilmore City, Bradgate, and came out with a 4-2 win. Dick Trotter?
Okay, Dean, John Reagan of Cedar Rapids, LaSalle had little trouble disposing of Doug Stryker of Starmont Strawberry Point as he overwhelmed Stryker 18-4 in their contest. And you knew from early on, there you see the young lad from LaSalle who has now won 2 consecutive titles at 105 and 112, and now he was 2nd at 105, and tonight at 119. Now back to you, Doug.
We're going to go to our change in the rotation now. From 126 through 145, the next 4 weight classes, we'll be starting out with the 1A teams. And those are the standings as we have them now. Dallas Center of Grimes up by 5 over Belle Plaine. But it's been close here. You see Lisbon just moved up into 6th place with that win by Happel. And at 126 at single A, we'll begin with Riceville's Mike Heeman, 33-1 as he comes to this match. And his opponent from Mobile, Woodbury Central, is undefeated Todd Peters. Now, Todd Peters is in the dark uniform, the blue. And Mike Heeman of Riceville is in the light, and he got the first takedown.
Both of these athletes have qualified for the state tournament 3 times. Young Todd Peters was 5th last year.
You see the 2A match up in the corner there. That's going to be between Pat Hamilton of Emmetsburg and Sean Boyd of Mount Vernon. 2 longtime powers in AA. And at AAA, well, there's a famous name up there. It's Gibbons. This is Jeff Gibbons, who won last year. Undefeated this season. He's going up against Jay Varentis of Mason City. We'll keep track of those for you. And here, it's 2-0.
Work for that ball on top. Work for that ball. Don't just
in favor of Heeman of Riceville.
Right, Heeman has a lot of wins this year, only 1 loss. And the young Todd Peters from Mobile was injured during the middle of the year and sat out 6 weeks, so he doesn't have quite as many wins. He's only got 21, but he hasn't lost either. So it's a match where you get 2 athletes with about 60 wins between them and only 1 loss.
Oh, a good spot for Heeman here. He's getting back points now.
Right, and he's in a real good position because he's got the arm trapped up. That's what's keeping him out there. As long as he keeps that arm, he can stay in that position and keep him on his back.
He has a double arm tie-up, and he can work at either side.
But as long as he stays toward the head, keeps the pressure toward the head with those arms tied up, he can keep his man in trouble.
Well, that position, I think, just ended, but he got at least 2 points out of that.
3 points in your ball.
Three. So now it's 5-zip.
Well, he is a good pinner. He does a lot of this where he picks up the inside leg and then lifts the man on the leg and tries to step in between. If the man's hips stay up, he'll do a good job of that. It'll be interesting to see how this match progresses, Doug, because both of these young men are good riders. They tend to be good riders, and they get their man on the back a lot. So here we're going to see Todd Peters from Beauville have the top position. He does a good job of jamming the arm and trying to tip the man to his side in a little hip tilt. Now, of course, as the matches progress during the state tournament, coaches kind of scout their opponents, and they know I have an idea of what their opponent wants to do and what he will try to do. So they come in kind of with the idea that, well, if I can take that away from him, maybe he won't be so tough on mine.
As soon as Peters put that second leg in, the referee called it off.
Well, that's a potentially dangerous situation. If the man on the bottom position would fall over, man on top could really get hurt.
Well, Peters has to make up 5 points here.
Well, he's a little high right here, and he doesn't have the leg tucked like he needs it. And Heeman from Riceville is keeping his hips high. What he wants to do is keep those legs out and keep him up around his head. Now, Peters from Mobille's in a lot of trouble. The young man with the bandage on his shoulder, now he's got the leg in, and he's under the arm, so he may be in a little better position. But again, the young man from Riceville is coming out the back door because his other arm is free. It's kind of a, can I keep this long enough to stalemate it right now by Todd Peters from Mobile?
Well, it's beginning to look a little bit worse, maybe. It looks like the Riceville youngster is going to come out. He did.
2 reversal.
Reversal, 7-0.
A lot of patience right in there. Didn't panic, just stayed with what he had, continued to work his way out so he could get that reversal.
7-0 with a minute to go in the second period. That's Todd Peters.
It'll be interesting to see. Here's the thing the young man from Riceville likes to do is he likes to pick that leg up and then step through. If he can get underneath that leg, he becomes very tough.
Todd Peters had 2 pretty good sized wins, and in his second match, in the quarterfinals, he had a squeaker against Sean Danker of Oakland on his way to the finals here. And Mike Heeman didn't have a lot of trouble. His most trouble was in the semifinal match against Brad Madison of Belle Plaine, 7-3.
Well, these are a couple of young guys that have wrestled almost all their lives. You know, they've been wrestling in the kid programs about 3rd and 4th grade. And both of their coaches are active in summer wrestling, so they've kept their boys active. Here's Coach Fish Ripley from Riceville.
At AA, Pat Hamilton of Emmitsburg has a 5-0 lead over Sean Boyd of Mount Vernon with 15 seconds to go in the second period.
And in 3A, Jeff Gibbons, the defending champion, is leading Jay Varentes from Mason City 4-1.
Now 4-2, I see. Looking down at the other end, there was just an escape by young Mr. Varentes. 7-0 here with Heeman of Riceville solidly ahead of Todd Peters of Woodbury Central.
There's Coach Fisher from Woodbury Central. Now, they don't let you stay back very much. You can hear the referee saying, start working for a fall on top. He's kind of been staying back in order to break him down. You know, it'd be interesting to see. Well, they just ran out of time.
Riceville's coach, Dave Ripley, was just elected by the coaches, the new secretary-treasurer of the Coaches Association, by the way, so
he has some respect, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
I tell you, those are honors that a lot of the coaches receive because the people that they work with, their peers, have respect for them.
We have a minute and about 45 seconds to go in the third period here. This is single A 126 state championship. That's the first stalling call I believe we've had tonight in one of our matches. It goes against Todd Peters on the bottom.
Well, people have been on their back a lot tonight. You know?
Yeah.
One of those ones, it's hard to call guys bridging for stalling. It's hard to call the other guy pinning him for stalling.
And Heeman takes him right back to the mat again and locks up that tight waist once more.
Well, he's got a solid lead, and he's probably can start to open up here and look a little more for the fall. You can hear the referee say work for the fall on top. He wants him to move up and start working for a fall. If he doesn't, it wouldn't surprise me to see him get on the young man from Riceville a little bit.
On on the edge. A minute and 2 to go.
It's one of those things, Doug, where if the referee isn't calling it, you don't change anything. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, they actually have a referee and a referee's assistant, right?
Yes.
In this situation.
The referee is always the dominant factor in the match. The outside judge, or the person that's walking around, works in a supervisory capacity to assist him make some decisions where the referee might not see it.
But Heeman has been a bear here. He's dominated this match.
Yes, he's ridden efforts up. Now, I don't know if the shoulder of young Peters from Mobile is bothering him or not, but he certainly hasn't been able to be very effective in the down position.
Heeman leads 7-0.
If he wants to win, he's going to have to score one big one, where he gets something to the back for a fall, because even a reversal to the back for near fall points wouldn't be enough. Now he's caught him. If he stays toward the head, he'll get near fall points out of this. As long as he stays up toward the head, he does near fall.
With 10 seconds to go. Yeah, he's going to stay in this position right to the very end. It's a 3-point near fall, and that makes it a big 10-0 win at 126 pounds. A state championship for Mike Heeman of Riceville.
Nice match,
on
boys.
the right.
Good work. Congratulations, young man, being state champion.
And he came through. Todd Peters will have another year. He's the junior. He's from Woodbury Central. And we'll go to 3A. After this match is over, we get back to the Gibbons match and the Barretti's match. Gibbons is leading 8-4 with about 40 seconds to go. Gibbons, the family that's produced all the state champions.
Right, they had one boy that won a state championship. They had another boy that won 3 state championships. They had another boy that won 4 state championships. And here's Jeff going for a 2nd championship.
Saw his father walking down the aisle here a little while ago.
Would you be very proud of that if you had that many state championships wrestling in your family?
I think I would.
You probably wouldn't have any buttons left on your shirt. Well, he's doing a good job here of keeping pressure on young Barentes from Mason City. He's lost his position here just a little bit. He's got to keep the leg in tight because he started to slide a little bit toward the head.
The match is almost over. That out-of-bounds call came with 3 seconds left, and it looks as if the Gibbons family is going to get its 10th title.
Isn't that remarkable?
Isn't that something?
There's a lot of families that would just like to have one any way they could get it. Blue light special Kmart, maybe.
And there it is. It's Jeff Gibbons of Ames, state champion. I know he's happy with this one because last year, yeah, the hands went up. He signaled 10. Because last year, there was some unfortunate controversy about the way the championship match ended. It was very close. Some people thought he shouldn't have won it. But no doubt this year. Okay, let's go for some awards at 119 pounds. And first of all,
Presenting the Class 1A 119-pound awards, Coach Brad Smith of Lisbon. 6th place, Patrick Wilson, Shelby Tennant. 5th place, Brad Davidson, Stanwood, Lincoln. 4th place, Scott Stalzer, Gilman, Semco. 3rd place, Don Hoffman, Afton East Union. Runner-up, Dave Vogt, Gilmore City, Bradgate. And the Class 1A 119-pound champion from Lisbon, Dean Happel.
I was going to say, young Mr. Vogt there wears his hair just exactly the opposite of you and I, of you and me, Chuck.
Yeah.
Dean Happel, 3-time champion.
I'd like to have that much hair down the middle.
Dean Happel, and one more standout wrestler from Lisbon High School. They've developed in just, 10, 12 years now. A terrific tradition. 8 championships in 11 years as a team. Here we go to Double-A now.
6th place, Josh Lyle, Clarinda. 5th place, Mark Ryland, Eagle Grove. 4th place, Mark Pogge, Tri-Center, Neola. 3rd place, Jeff Schmitz, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Runner-up, Doug Streicher, Starmont, Strawberry Point. And the 2A 119-pound champion from Cedar Rapids, LaSalle, John Regan.
A 2-time state champion.
He works very hard for the success he gets. I'd say this young guy wrestles all the time.
At 119 pounds, And we have yet to get the awards in this weight class, as up they come from the AAA winners.
19-pound awards, Coach Steve Knipp of Waterloo East. 6th place, Chad Velvick, Prairie Cedar Rapids. 5th place, Steve Ugolini, Ankeny. 4th place, Ken Luton, West Des Moines Dowling. 3rd place, Dale Fellon, Mason City. Runner-up, Derek Woods, Waterloo Columbus. And the 3A 119-pound champion from Waterloo East, Chuck Pearson.
Who looked like a champion all the way tonight. He did a great job. That's Chuck Pearson. Let's get a floor report now from Dean Board.
We certainly do, Dean, and this is Mark Schwab, who is with the green machine up there at Osage. Mark won easily tonight, 19-2. Do you do anything differently for this than you do for, say, a dual meet when you come into this final match?
No, I just stretch out a lot and warm up just like every other match, I guess. That's about it.
What's going through your mind with that big lead at the end of the second period, Mark, 14-2?
Well, my arms are tired, and just wanted to get off the mat and get it over with.
You certainly did. We want to wish you well. This lad has been first place at 98, 1-5, 112, and next year we'll probably see him back at 119 if it goes according to form. Good luck, Mark. Back to you, Doug.
Well, let's go back to Dean. We saw you, but we didn't hear you. Dean Board.
Yes, now with a microphone this time. And I was telling you that the champion at 126 is Pat Hamilton of Emmitsburg. He defeated Sean Boyd of Mount Vernon 6-0. Doug?
Okay, let's go to 132. And here we're still at single A through these middle 4 matches in the, well, it's not quite the middle because there is super heavyweight there. But we have here Ken Bradley of Traer, North Tama against Wes Andrew of Monroe. And these two fellas have wrestled 62 matches this year. They have no losses. And it's Bradley, they're both in red, and the one with the stripe around the middle is Ken Bradley of Traer, North Tama.
Get in the middle. That's about the only way you'll be able to identify him, a stripe down the side or a stripe on the chest. These guys are real scrappers, Doug. They both come out and get after it. They both have a long history of wrestling. I know that the young man now from Monroe, Wes Andrew.
Let's take a look at double A here quickly, Chuck. Sean Ryan of Maquoketa against Steve Rogers of Iowa City, Virginia. Now let's quickly here, and it's triple A. It's Kazoka of Des Moines Dowling. It's Rick Lynch of Charles City. We saw a flurry here right in the middle in our single A match.
All that was there was a takedown, but it was close to a back point as young Wes Andrew from Monroe almost threw him to his back. An interesting thing about this is this young man, Wes Andrew from Monroe's uncle is Bill Andrew, the coach at Osage. The one that you just saw Mark Schwab from Osage being interviewed. His father, Wes Andrew's father, is the assistant there at Monroe, and his uncle is the coach at Osage.
Bradley coming around. Didn't quite get the job done.
Well, he's almost free. All he's got to do there is gain a little bit of elevation. He got his 1 point, so now it goes 2-1.
2-1 with 35 seconds to go in the first 2-minute period. That's Andrew with his back here, Bradley on the left with the horizontal stripe around the middle.
Both these guys have that history of wrestling in their family.
Nice fireman's carry by Doug Andrew.
He's got a real good fireman's carry. You saw him there, but he lost it and caught right on his back with it. I'm not sure if there's near fall points going to be awarded or not. Yes, there were.
So that makes it 6-1 in favor of Bradley.
No, there's a mistake in the score because that that reversal was by Ken Bradley from North Tama, and the back points were to him, so they're going to overwrite now to make some adjustments. Here's a real nice fireman's carry where he catches him, comes in deep, catches him there, he catches him on his back, and the man signal in there, he lifts him off with the elevation and scores a reversal, and he also gets near falls out of that.
Let's call it 6-5.
Well, that closes it down. And I was saying earlier, young Bradley from North Tama's father was a state champion for Traer way back in 1951. And they didn't have another state champion for 30-some years, so they both have that history of wrestling in their background.
This is Bradley on top. He's trailing by a point.
Well, he does a good job of trying to ride the arms, you know, control the arms to get his man on his back. And young Andrew does as good a job as you can of trying to get to his feet. That's what he's going to want to do, is get to his feet and stand up. Now, there he got just a little bit high, over-pressured it. Young Bradley from North Cayman, he lost the position, and Andrews now is in a position to face him and maybe score an escape.
Well, you can't accuse either one of these gentlemen of being cautious at all.
He's got that good fireman's carry, and here he comes back in on the carry. You know, he's over the leg, but he just lost the arm a little bit.
He couldn't post it. It's 7-5. Andrew leads.
Now, one of these times, young Bradley from North Cayman is going to have to feel that that arm isn't a good thing to give his opponent. And he's going to have to keep him from having that arm so he doesn't get fireman's carry.
At AA, Steve Rogers of Iowa City, Virginia leads Sean Ryan of Macoka to 4-1. Rogers over Ryan of AA.
Are you okay?
And our match in 3A between West Des Moines, Dowling, and Charles City is 4-4, all tied up.
Are you okay? 7-7.
Okay, we're going to keep on going.
7-7. Takedown for Bradley. And this one, we have a minute to go in the second period, and they're going to light up the scoreboard, obviously.
Doesn't leave any doubt that they want to wrestle to try to get somebody on their back, does it? No. Now, Bradley from North Cayman is a good rider. He pins a lot by controlling the arms like this. Now, he's lost a little bit of the position, but he comes back through him. But he likes to tie up arms, as you see him right here. Tie up the arms, and what he's not doing is controlling the hips. He's trying to turn him over without the hips. That's how he's lost him a couple times. Very flexible young Wes Andrew from Monroe.
Position still belongs to Bradley.
Well, they're letting her go, though, aren't they, Doug? They just
sure are.
Whip snapping around here. If somebody gets caught, they usually get caught for a bundle.
Oh, that almost turned into back points, and then it looked like it was an escape for Andrew. And Bradley still holds the position. Now the arm is pulled out of there, and it's 8-7, an escape for Andrew.
There's Bradley coming back in, but he ran out of time.
End of the second period. Well, let's see. Let's rest our adding machine here for a moment as the score goes up. Good match between that young man right there, Wes Andrew of Monroe, and Ken Bradley of Strayer. Undefeated. Neither one of them wants to lose. Bradley's out.
Now he's out, and he's in a position to score it. Now it's 8-8. He's been fireman's carried a couple times. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps that arm out of there. He's got a good single, and there he hits in on the single before the fireman's carry can work against him. But he's got his arm tied up underneath, but now his arm is free.
And he gets the two.
Now, this would be a good position for him to, to lift that leg and go toward the head.
That sort of Navy ride position there.
Yeah, he's got it. What they want to do is keep the elbow down in order to be able to lift the leg, but he lost that, so he got overpowered at the elbow.
And it's 10-8, Bradley.
Well, he's got the hips under control now. You know, there's other times when he was trying to take young Andrew to his back, the hips were up, and as a result of the hips being up, he lost him. Now he's got the hips down, but in order to be able to turn him over, he's got to be able to go toward the head. Now, see, he's very flexible, young Andrew, the man on the bottom, and he's able to just let that arm slide on through and not get taken to his back.
The 2-point lead for the man on top, Bradley, with 50 seconds to go.
It's hard to use this when you wrestle in this position because the man is so flexible on the bottom. You can just see his arms kind of bend around. He does have a lot of pressure, but he's got the lead, and what we got to do is see now young Andrew from Monroe be able to put some pressure on him with some kind of technique rather than just staying down here.
25 seconds to go. Bradley on top, leading by 2.
Well, North Cayman had a state champion back about 1980-81. And they had young Bradley's father back in 1951. So if he wins this match, it's going to be a long time in between with one champion in there 1981 or 82.
There's the coach, Jeff Selby. His man has 17 seconds to rise.
Well, he's got the arm tied up now, and if he can control the hip, he's in pretty good shape. He's going to have to, in order to be able to keep this position, he's got to keep those hips down. The referee may look at him as stalling.
He did. He called it stalling.
He called him stalling because
that's only a warning to the fall. And it's a state championship. Like father, like son. Ken Bradley of Strayer, North Cayman. 10-8 over Wes Andrew of Monroe. Yep.
Young Bradley goes in for a knee operation here 2 weeks from now or so. They're looking at his knee and thinking that maybe he's got some trouble.
Now we're going to 3A. And this is a match between West Des Moines Dowling and Charles City. And the score is 7-6 in favor of Chris Bazocco of West Des Moines Dowling against Lynch of Charles City. I take that back. It's the other way around. A second look makes it Lynch leading.
Not anymore.
Other way around.
Well, he just came in on that shot and got snapped down and taken to in a snap down, and now he's on his back getting near fall points against him.
See how
fast those things change.
Oh, they do, don't they?
7-6 lead here just a few seconds ago, and all of a sudden it goes 2 for a takedown and 3 for a near fall. Widens it out to 11-7 in favor of young man from Dowling.
5 seconds to go. Dowling is going to win a state championship as a team. They've wrapped it up, and they just got an individual crown to add to the picture. That's young Chris Bazocco. Chris Bazocco of West Des Moines Dowling. 11-7 over Lynch of Charles City. You get to see the last 30 seconds of that. Well, they're all finished at 132, and it's time for the awards at 126 pounds on Iowa Public Television. So let's go to the award stand. The winners, Class A, 126.
26-pound awards, Coach Dave Ripley of Riceville. 6th place, Dan Halder, Pocahontas. 5th place, Mike Hansen, Gilmore City, Bradgate. 4th place, Sean Danker, Oakland. 3rd place, Brad Madison, Belle Plaine. Runner-up, Todd Peters, Mobile, Woodbury Central. And the 1A 126-pound champion from Riceville, Mike Heeman.
We saw Mike with a big win there tonight in his championship. I think it was 10-0, wasn't it? Mike Heeman, the winner from Riceville. That's at single A, 126 pounds. The small schools. And they send a lot of people to these championships. A lot of fans are here from the small towns around the state. Now at double A, 126.
6th place, Andy Lonning, Walk On. 5th place, Rod Frost, Gilbertville, Don Bosco. 4th place, Jeff Wieland, Highland Riverside. 3rd place, Dan House, Sigourney. Runner-up, Sean Voigt, Mount Vernon. And the 2A 126-pound champion from Emmitsburg, Pat Hamilton.
Well, that's certainly a familiar name, that Emmitsburg.
You bet. I hope you get to see somebody you know up on the stand there tonight. That's one of the nice things about it, all over the state. Double A champions at 126 pounds. We have a lot of wrestling to go. The state championships from Iowa, live from Veterans Auditorium. Now, Triple A 126.
6th place, Pat Waters, Iowa City, City High. 5th place, Ian Overland Boone. 4th place, Mark Barstow, Davenport Central. 3rd place, Shane Barlow, Fort Dodge. Runner-up, Jay Barrentis, Mason City. And the Class 3A 126-pound champion from Ames, Jeff Gibbons.
Jeff Gibbons, 10th title for the Gibbons family, the 2nd for Jeff. And that's a big one, too. Now let's go to Dean Borg.
The Double A champion at 132 pounds is Steve Rogers of Iowa City, Regina. And he defeated Sean Ryan of Maquoketa 14-3, quite decisively all the way. He was leading 4-1 after one period, 7-1, and then went on 14-3. Right with me right now, though, is Dean Happel of Lisbon, a 3-time state champion. Congratulations, Dean. You came down, though, to the final, I think, 38 seconds before you pulled that one out, 4-2. What was going through your mind in that final period?
I was just thinking, you can't worry, you know, just set up a move and do it. So I did it.
And what was that move? It was reversal.
Yeah, I reversed him, you know. He got a little high, so, you know, I took advantage of it.
Now, this is end of your high school career. Now, you're going on to wrestle someplace else?
Yeah, I'd like to, you know. I haven't made up my mind anywhere yet, though. But, you know.
Congratulations on the 3-time state champion winner. Back to you, Doug.
Now we're going to look at some team standings here. before we go any farther, this is the 1A, and it means something because we're going to have a match coming up with a Belle Plaine youngster in it. See if they can add to that score. It's tied now between Traer and Belle Plaine for second place. Riceville's up there. Dallas Center still leads. We're looking at the 1A people at 132 pounds. At 138 pounds, this is Matt Spading of Belle Plaine against Jim Driven of Mason City Newman. And the Mason City man just took the first takedown. Now, at AA, we're going to be seeing Pat Hogan of Gilbertville Don Bosco against Glenn Barker of Osage. Osage in the green. And at AAA, it's Keith Fries of West Des Moines Valley and Tara Stevenson of Waterloo West. Now back to 1A in the center, Chuck.
Well, this young guy on top, Driven from Mason City Newman, has qualified for this tournament 3 times and did place at 105, 5th. But he's got 4 brothers in the family, sort of like a couple of these other families that talked about, the Knights and the Gibbons. I'm sure he's done a lot of wrestling in that living room carpet trying to just survive.
And Matt Spading of Belle Plaine. This is a story of persistence. He's a senior, went 23-5 this year, had never made it to the state tournament before, and in his first one as a senior, he goes all the way to the finals.
Well, he's coming around here and very close to scoring an escape. He's good. Depends on what Driven does with his hips. There he walked into him and took him back down. An interesting story on that, Doug, that you mentioned. He's never been to the state tournament before. Was that this young man, Spading from Belle Plaine, was on crutches until the 8th grade because he had a type of polio when he was young. And they predicted that he would never be an athlete of any kind, that he probably wouldn't do anything, and he was a starting center on their football team, and here he is in the finals of the state tournament. So if you talk about persistence, that's a lot of young men out there watching. I think it shows a lot of determination on his part and what can be done if somebody's willing to stick with something.
10 seconds to go. Driven of Mason City Newman leads 2-0.
Come on, gentlemen.
Young Driven from Mason City has their school record for numbers of victories in the history of their school. He's got 94.
The referee there flipping the coin of the token and awarding the choice here at the first period to Jim Driven is Bob McNeil, Dr. Robert McNeil of Cedar Rapids. Keith, that's a match a long ways down the way here.
Yeah, that's the man from Belle Plaine. They just had the wrong title up on top of it. That's young Matt Spading from Belle Plaine.
Matt Spading. Well, he started out very quickly on the bottom, and he's been carrying the Jim Driven's weight all period, first period, and now the first 20 seconds of this one.
Well, Driven from Mason City Newman is a real tough rider. He puts a lot of pressure on people. He works what they call a bar series well. If he can get the arms in, you know, he'll take the arms in and then start to work what we call a bar series. He'll tie the arms up on the inside, and he does get a lot of falls off that. But he'll work out on out to the side, try to tie those arms up, pull the hips in, see if he can get something done with that.
Stalemate with 1:20 to go. Jim Driven looking very confident there.
You get in there using the wrist. I want you working for the ball. I want to let you just ride with it. I don't want you freeze underneath there, okay?
There you hear the referee say to the man on top, you're going to get on those arms, you're going to have to work for a fall with them, and I think that's probably the way he's seeing it, is that you got to do something with this, not just. And there he came right over the top in a real nice reversal, elevated those hips, came right back across him.
So there's the first point scored by Matt Spading, 2-2, with 1 minute to go in the second period.
I think an interesting note about young Spading, besides the courage that I think it takes to come into this, you know, living on crutches until you're in 8th grade and all of a sudden you're a wrestler and a football player, is the fact that here he's got a nice cradle, but now he went a little bit too hard, but he's got him back toward his back with that thing. But he didn't get near fall points because he came through. The referee didn't signal any near falls because he came through too fast. But I was going to say an interesting note about young Matt Spading from Belle Plaine is that he was the 155-pounder last year and went on 15-10 for him. But they had these 2 Sheedenhelm boys that they've got on their team that were wrestling the last 2 years at 138 and 145, so he couldn't make the team at either of those weights, and he went up and wrestled 155 and got a whole season of experience, way out of his weight class. So here he is in the state finals at 138, down 2 weights.
Make you pretty tough, though, I'll tell you.
Make you tough as an athlete, but more importantly, what you're really gaining out of this sport when you're all done, Doug, is mental toughness for life.
There are the 2A standings as we end the period. Griswold has it wrapped up. Osage doesn't just have enough people left to make the difference. But there's Griswold on top. We're coming up to period 3, 138 pounds, Matt Spading against Jim Gribben. And again, Spading on top, starting the period 2-2.
Well, he's got to be able to do is put a little pressure on the young man from Mason City Newman, not get too high and get carried away. Here he just got it a little bit over the top and lost an arm. Now, I don't know whether he's going to have a reversal here. He still has the leg, but he lost the position by just trying to jump that crate a little bit before it was there.
Now he's out. And there it is, reversal for Gribben. He leads 4-2. And a good switch, almost.
Well, he lost his hips right there. He came all the way around in the switch, but just lost and got extended out. This is an important match in this category, in this A classification for young Spading from Belle Plaine because of their position as a team.
They came into this match 5 points out of first place. There'd be 4 points to the winner, and a fall or anything like that, of course, would make extra. But there are only 40 seconds left here.
Right, and he's letting those arms be controlled. Young Gribben from Mason City, Jim Gribben, is doing a good job of keeping the arms in. The referees has already stepped up and told him, you're going to have to do something with that rather than just lay on top of him and hold the arm in. I don't know whether they'll call him on this or not.
20 seconds to go. Just 20 seconds. Gribben is keeping Spading just flat. There's stall. He did call the stalling. That makes it 4-3. Now an escape ties it.
Right, and there's 17 seconds to go. You see Coach Billings up there shouting a little encouragement to his man.
Are we going to see something off the whistle here or not?
Well, we better. like a bucking bronco.
I think that was a caution. It was. Okay. Jim Gribben was going to cut that one off at the pass.
He certainly was. He's going to take that arm and cut it right to his side. You can almost feel a man set up on you for that.
Well, Gribben is going to try to switch out of his position, and I don't know if it's going to work.
Oh, he's got the arm still behind him, so he's not going to make it as long as that arm stays back there.
And it's a state championship for Jim Gribben of Mason City Newman.
Well, I'm sure Coach Augustine from Mason City Newman's very excited. This is the farthest anybody from his school has ever gone, and win that state title probably make him very happy.
And hats off to Matt Spading of Belle Plaine in his first state championship match. He goes all the way through his senior year, gets to the state championship, and goes to a final at 138 pounds. But Gribben wins by 1 point, 4-3. Well, we have a 3A match still at work here. Keith Freeze of West Des Moines Valley wrestling against Tara Stevenson of Waterloo West. And the score is 7-5 in favor of Stevenson, who is facing the camera. In the black, with his back to you, is Keith Freeze of Valley. Trailing by 2 with 10 seconds to go. We're just seeing the last bit. Just time for Freeze to try to throw something. There it was. There it was. Stop. Yes, he got it with 1 second to go. How about that? We're going to have an overtime.
Yes, he didn't have any choice. Nothing to lose. And he took it and got it.
Not much to throw with there either.
No, he really did. Back pressure going away from him. He had out pressure where it was very difficult for him to be able to execute that.
So that's what happened. In fact, that was the 2 points were called with 1 second left. And we'll go to overtime.
Here it is right here. You can see now, the young man from West just comes in a little bit. He gets good penetration in with his hips. Almost caught him in a position where he got him on his back, but he slid in behind, had the hands down on the mat. The referee signaled the points. The Cowboy hit him with a towel.
He had to recover fast. himself, when he balanced, to get back up and around there. Otherwise, he couldn't have maintained that position. He couldn't have kept that position with 1 second left. Well, let's see. We'll go to overtime here. Our first overtime for you at 138 pounds, Triple A. And the match we saw all the way through, driven as Mason City beat Spading and Belle Plaine. Mason City Newman, I should say. And we'll have that Double A result for you a little bit later on, too. I believe it was Pat Hogan beat Glenn Barker 9-2 there. Gilbertville, Don Bosco. Here we go. Overtime, first period. Just like it's a little match. We start all over again here.
Yeah, everything starts over. Unless it ends in a tie, then they're going to go back and use what happened in the regular match to add against or up before the opponent when they get done. But the coach from Valley has asked this athlete, get out of there. Don't let that man under your arms.
Back to the center with 30 seconds to go, 32 seconds.
Well, West Waterloo certainly is a name that's been in these state championships. Talk about history and tradition for a long time.
Yeah, we were just seeing Bob Siddons, who is the supervisor of officials here.
And he had, I don't know what it was, 20 out of 26, first, second, or third. So it's not unusual for a young man from West to do it. Now, he's put himself in this position, the young man from West, and he's got the position, he's got the angle, and there he gets the 2 points.
With 6 seconds to go in the first overtime period. There will be 3 periods of 1 minute each. It's just the same as in a regular match, but they're minute periods. We'll have somebody up here to start this period and the other man up in the third.
Well, it looked like he put himself in bad, looks like he puts himself in bad shape here, but you see he's got the arm locked up tight. The arm that you see on the other side, he's got locked up, and what it does is it gives him position. Now when he comes back out, he gets his hips in close, and that lets him scoot on around and gain the advantage. And if he'd have gone right to the head right there, he might have been able to get some more. But he did get the 2-point takedown.
End of the first period. It's 2-0 in favor of Stevenson. This is Triple A, 138 pounds. The only match running at this weight. The others have ended. We're in overtime. Here's how Terrace Stevenson has only lost twice this year. This is his third state tournament. He finished 4th last year at this same weight.
We'll see how quickly he reacts here in the bottom.
And Keith Priest, by the way, is only a sophomore, Chuck.
Yes, he's got a bright future ahead of him. Get the finals here as a sophomore.
So Priest starts on top, trailing by 2.
Well, he's a good legger, and he uses a cradle well out of the legs. So what he's going to try to do is keep the legs in, and then if he can get Stevenson bunched up, he'll come through the crotch and lock the leg and lock his hands, and then use the cradle to tip him over. What Stevenson's got to try to do is get hand control and then get elevation, be able to get out of this position. There, he real quick little move with the hips. He freed the leg, but he doesn't have points yet. Priest did a good job there of being patient, keeping the hips in. Stevenson wisely got up and popped his hips up for the escape.
Tough out by Stevenson, who's had the best of it, better of it in the overtime. 3-0 now in favor of Stevenson. 21 seconds to go, second period.
You can hear that coach yell, get out of there. He doesn't want his athlete in that position. It's a dangerous position because the man under the arm can just throw your arm over very easy. And if you get the other arm caught up, you're in a lot of trouble in a hurry.
And Priest is under there.
Well, he just didn't penetrate his hips. He reached in underneath instead of taking his hips underneath. That's why it didn't work.
3-0, that's the end of that period. We have 1 minute overtime period. This time Stevenson will start on top with a 3-point lead. State championship match, Iowa High School AAA Division 138.
Well, there's that quick little blast on the whistle. It takes away the initial move. Now, he's putting a lot of pressure on these men, but I'm sure the referee now looks for the top man to try to work toward the fall instead of just working to hang on. That's just how people get cautioned, you know. They warn, they don't move out. Now he's out to the side a little bit, which kind of takes some of the pressure off the referee and the athlete. Well, you gotta be a good actor if you're not going to be a good pinner. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. I know what you're talking about.
You know, you may not try to turn the guy over, but you got to win the Academy Award, making the referee think that you're going to.
It's like around the office. Now, you know, you look busy.
Well, he just got warned for stalling on top. The referee determined that
didn't look busy enough.
He didn't look busy enough. The office help said he's not doing it.
3-0 though. He leads with only 5 seconds to go. Out on 3-1. Not enough time for a takedown for Freeze. He can't pull this one off the way he did in the regulation period. So it's a state championship for Tara Stevenson of West Waterloo. And Keith Freeze is only a sophomore. We'll have to wait till next year. He'll be back. That's the 138-pound championship. Now we're going to, as we see Tara Stevenson, who had a rough one overtime here, go to the award ceremony stand for the 1A Division Championship awards at 132.
Traer, North Tama. 6th place, Doug Benjamin, Gilmore City, Bradgate. 5th place, Kevin Gray, Mobile, Woodbury Central. 4th place, Rick Swalla, Stuart Menlo. 3rd place, Sean Govern, Riceville. Runner-up, Wes Andrew Monroe. And the Class 1A 132-pound champion from Traer, North Tama, Ken Bradley.
Traer, North Bradley. I always wondered how a fellow named Bradley ended up in a Czech town like Traer. How did that happen?
They have a great Czech festival there, that's for sure.
And he's the winner, just as his father was some, what, 32, 33 years ago. Now, here come the winners at AA, the top 6.
6th place, Charles Sellers, Corden West Wayne Community. 5th place, Scott Hunt, Wapello. 4th place, Tim Hillpiper, Eagle Grove. 3rd place, Gus Roberts, Wapsie Valley. Runner-up, Sean Ryan, Maquoketa. And the Class 2A 132-pound champion from Iowa City, Regina, Steve Rogers.
You bet. There you go, Steve. Championship at 132 pounds. Before a capacity crowd at Veterans Auditorium. Always a full house here on championship night. Now we have the AAA winners at 132.
6th place, Bob Waitke, Davenport West. 5th place, Steve Hellman, Waterloo, Columbus. 4th place, Scott Bauermeister, Spencer. 5th place, Trevor Clark, Fort Dodge. Runner-up, Rick Lynch, Charles City. And the Class 3A 132-pound champion from West Des Moines Dowling, Chris Bazzacco.
Chris Bazzacco, and he's on the state championship team. He has double reason to smile. Certainly. And here's Dean Borg.
Doug Pat Hogan, a 17-year-old senior from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, had never been or never wrestled at the state tournament before, but this year he did, and he went on. He's a state champion at AA at 138 pounds. He defeated another 18-year-old senior, Glenn Barker of Osage. Hogan led all the way, 2-0 in the first period, added 4 more points in the second period. Barker did pick up 2 reversal points in the second period, but Hogan went on to win 8-2. The new champion, Pat Hogan, Gilbertville, Don Bosco, 138 pounds at AA. Doug?
1A match at 145 next, Dean. And here we're going to see Kevin Call of Durant, Iowa, and Cedar County against Mark Negard of Rock Valley. And Call is undefeated. In the rotation system, selected by the Iowa High School Athletic Association, the weight divisions rotate annually, and we have 4 AAA matches first, and this is the last of the 4 A matches in which we'll start. Beginning at 155, we'll go to AA.
Well, Call is in the blue, and Negard from Rock Valley is in with the orange stripe down the side. And if we can just set you before we introduce the other matches. Call was 3rd in the National Greco Championships last summer for the USWF. He's got very good hips. So if you see the young man from Rock Valley come in, you'll be able to see some hips hitting.
Okay, here we go to the other matches to show you what's happening. And there's Brad Coulon of Algona against Jeff Kelly of Britt at AA. And we'll keep particular mind on the AAA match, which has Tim Krieger of Mason City going for his 3rd state championship against Tim Johnson of Davenport Central. Krieger, one of the most impressive wrestlers at the high school level in the country. And our rotation system has us at 1A here with Call and Negard scoreless first period.
There's Nygaard in low on an attack, but call from Durant warded him off and kept him out of there. They're losing a headgear, so we'll probably have to stop and put it on.
Referees Richard Gray of St. Charles again.
An interesting, there's our coach from Durant, John Van Reedy. Maybe an interesting thing for the people to know is that Mark Nygaard, when he was his father, was the coach Van Reedy's high school coach.
The Durant wrestlers.
The Durant coach was coached by this young man from Rock Valley's father.
No score. They've gone through about a minute and a half. A little cautious here, both of them, just a little. Headgear lost again.
Right now in 3A, Tim Krieger from Mason City is really racking up the points, and he just went ahead 11-2.
It's no score in AA between Coulon and Kelly. Aldona against Britt. We'll keep track of those as we go. The first period just ended here at single A. Call, Nygaard, zip.
Well, we just really had kind of a cautious first period there with young man from Durant not really penetrating in, and the young man from Rock Valley, Mark Nygaard, making some attempts to never win in deep.
No change in those standings a while ago. Belle Plaine had a chance to move up, couldn't quite take advantage of it. So Dallas Center still on top of things. And a close team score. One of the best A races we've had.
That's right.
On the whistle, you saw Call take that first move away from Nygaard.
Well, he likes the leg, and if he gets the legs in, he turns pretty well with it. You know, he'll put the legs in and try to turn him over, especially if he can get those bars in. And he has it in now, and he's got the knee up high.
Top man, let's work that fall. I got to work.
And right now, you know, he's just being a little cautious. He's not really opening up and wrestling hard for the fall. You heard the referee say you got to try for a fall. You know, don't just hang on to him.
Respect your hat.
Well, the young man at the bottom, Mark Nygaard, just had his headgear go down in his eyes, and the lights went out. Kevin Call is undefeated this year. He finished third last year at this weight, and in 1982 he qualified at this weight. It's interesting that he would stay at the same weight all the way through high school.
Yeah, most of the time you grow up a little bit on that, get a little bigger.
Caution on the bottom. Nygaard, who qualified last year for the state meet but did not place. And he has another year to go. He's a junior.
So Call leads their team and has the school record for most career victories at over 100. So he knows how to win. And right now he's going to try to turn this man over, see if he can't get some back points on him. And of course, Mark Nygaard from Rock Valley has got to react. Once the legs come in, you got to react rapidly, or you get yourself either in trouble or you get hurt physically, because the man on top has such leverage with his hips.
Double A score. Kelly of Britt leads Coulon of Algona now 2-0. And they have just a few seconds to go in the second period. It's a bloody nose stopping this one.
Well, in the 3A, Tim Krieger, our young man that we talked about going for his third title, is now leading 21-6 with about 30 seconds to go in the second period.
Ready to go?
Rock Valley coach, his young man has a bloody nose, and that's why we stopped. They set up again. There's still no score here, but now
quick stand-up.
Nygaard is out.
And he came right back on him. He's putting the aggressive offense on Call from Durant. There's those hips I was telling about.
It happened out of bounds.
You have to be careful when you start to pursue a man with good hips like that. And by good hips, I mean when you come in and the pressure is in, he'll just turn his body fast, and you just go flying. You get pilot's license that way. But I think what will happen is if the young man from Rock Valley continues to pressure, you're going to see the officials get on Kevin Call from Durant for not being aggressive. There's the hips again.
Keep it in there.
But
the fact is that Nygaard leads by 1 with 25 seconds to go in the second period. You can see Call would surely like to throw, hasn't been able to do it. And he did get the warning. Well, you're he's been around this game a little, huh, Chuck?
You got to stay in and wrestle aggressively. And so far, even though he hasn't gotten anything, the young man from Rock Valley's made all the offensive efforts. And that's what the official has to look at after a while. You know, he's got to be able to say, listen, you're not doing anything.
And it's 1-0 with just a second, a tick of the clock left. There the period ends. Now we have 1 to go, and it's a 1-point lead for Nygaard.
Well, he's a pretty good rider. He exchanges well. You know, he'll go from side to side on you and not, you know, put a lot of pressure until he can make sure he's got something good. Whereas young Carl is going to try to get up off that mat if he can.
Slow stand up by Carl. He'd like to turn around and score.
Well, he almost lost him, but he kept the leg. Now he's getting in that position where he finally got the hips out.
All right, we're 1-1. Riding time, you know, doesn't matter in high school.
Can't do that.
It's a 1-1 game.
Yeah, you can't do what he just did right there and be in good position. You know, he dropped down with his hips out and left his arms up high. That's a good way to get fits to your back. He's making the offensive efforts. Now, this may go. If he doesn't get taken down, he's either going to score the takedown or he's going to get the, there's those hips again. And this time, that was inbounds. That knocks the wind out of you, too. So not only did he get the takedown, but he got, here he comes in now. Watch him use his hips. Watch the hips get turned right here. There they go, all the way in underneath the man. That's what I mean by hips.
The only question is whether it's inbounds or not, and you can see it's clearly inside. 3-1 lead for Carl.
Yeah, they false started on that, but the whistle on the mat right next to him was blown, and it was really permitted him to get jumped. You saw that quick stand-up a couple times. See if Rock Valley does that again. Carl took it away from him. Took it away with a jam. Now you got to build back. Get your head back into him and build back and not let him get those legs in. You know he wants to leg you, so you can't let him do that.
Roll. And it worked. 3-2. 3-2 in favor of Carl in the blue. And Nygaard is still making those shots. He's still coming.
Hits the hat, get her going.
Time is a factor. 53 seconds to go. It's a 1-point lead for Carl of Durant.
Plugging your nose?
Well, he is making the offensive efforts. Now, Doug, if Carl from Durant doesn't get an offense started here, you know, at least keep some pressure on the man. He's going to get called. All right, now, you don't want to let this happen, you know, for either man. You know, you want him to see, you want to see the match decided by the wrestlers.
Let's go. Green's backing up.
They warned the other way this time.
Right, he was backing out of it.
Now let's wrestle.
So it's a point either way if somebody is called for that again. 30 seconds to go. We're at 145, single A division. Durant's Kevin Call against Rock Valley's Mark Nygaard.
Take it back out here. Let's go.
You don't want to let him get underneath those arms.
Right here.
Want to have the offense.
24 seconds to go.
Young Kevin Call from Durant wants to tie him up now, I'm sure. He doesn't want to let him get in. Now, he's good in this position. There's those hips again. He's good in here where he can hang on to you. If he's got a hold of you, he's in pretty good shape. There, he starts to try to penetrate in. Young Mark Nygaard, and he countered him out.
Only 7, 6, 5 seconds to go. And there it is. It's Kevin Call's championship. He wins it by 1, 3-2 over Mark Nygaard of Rock Valley. Single A division, 145 pounds. One more happy winner here at the state championships. Now we go to the award stand again. This time we're checking out the top 6 places in each division at 138 pounds. 1A first.
Coach Dennis Augustine of Mason City, Newman. 6th place, Jimmy Nelson, Linville, Sully. 5th place, Dan Johannes, Pocahontas. 4th place, Darrell Schofield, Manson. 3rd place, Scott Davis, Ida Grove. Runner-up, Matt Spading, Belle Plaine. And the Class 1A 138-pound champion from Mason City, Newman, Jim Gribben.
Jim Gribben, the winner. Got a little nick in the face there, but he'll take it. the championship at 138 pounds single A. And now the winners are coming up for Class 2A. And here they are.
6th place, Roy Reeks, Turkey Valley, Jackson Junction. 5th place, Pat Hogan, Winthrop East Buchanan. 4th place, Clint Schmidt, Audubon. 3rd place, Rex Van Buskirk, Griswold. Runner-up, Glenn Barker Osage. And the Class 2A 138-pound champion from Gilbertville, Don Bosco, Pat Hogan.
Pat Hogan from another school that produces a lot of fine wrestlers over the years, Gilbertville, Don Bosco.
They're in there every year, whether they're 1A or 2A, and they just keep going back and forth. They've got somebody in there, and that team is in there in that top 5 constantly. That Dan Mashik does a great job down there.
And I saw some petitions floating around the officials' room about changing it again. Let's change those divisions. Here we go with the 3A winners at 138.
Johnson, Urbandale. 5th place, Kevin Yount, Bettendorf. 4th place, Mike Porter, Ankeny. 3rd place, Doyle Anderson, Fort Dodge. Runner-up, Keith Freese, West Des Moines Valley. And the 138-pound Class 3A champion from Waterloo West, Terrace Stevenson.
Terrace Stevenson, who won in an overtime. The state champion from Waterloo West. Well, let's go to Dean Board.
Doug, 2 North Central Iowa communities went at it for the championship at AA at 145 pounds. And the champion is Jeff Kelly of Britt, defeating Brad Colon of Algona 7-1. Very close match, actually. 0-0 in first period, 2-0 for Kelly after the second. But then Colon had to be frantic, had to take some chances, and ended up losing back points, lost 7-0. The champ is Jeff Kelly. Dick Trotter, what a score you were running up over there on your mat.
Yeah. Tim Krieger of Mason City was ahead of his opponent, Tim Johnson of Davenport Central, 38-8, when Krieger finally put Johnson to his back in 5 minutes, 46 seconds. Here you see a very happy lad who just won his 3rd consecutive state title for Coach Jerry Ray at Mason City. 38-8 before the pin came in. And now back to you, Doug.
Tim Krieger, who's made a lot of recruiters drool all over themselves. I'll tell you, he's one of the best in the United States. And we're going to change horses here. We're going up to 155 to go to AA for the first time. Our next 4 matches in the rotation system, chosen every 3 years by the Iowa High School Athletic Association, puts us 155 through heavyweight at AA. And our principal match here will be between Doug Rogers of Mount Vernon and Jeff Colfett of Eagle Grove. We have a couple other matches that are tough, too. They're in the AA standings right now. Griswold has it locked up in the division you're just looking at. AA. Osage was favored there coming in, but, boy, Griswold came out of nowhere.
He certainly wrestled well in the matches this afternoon.
Now, this is Rogers of Mount Vernon in the dark on the left against Colfett of Eagle Grove. Eagle Grove has the purple, but with the horizontal stripe.
Before we go to the other match, I just want to say this Doug Rogers from Mount Vernon has a tremendous headlock, and he usually hits it early, so
if we'll watch for that.
We'll watch for that.
And at single A, there's an important match going on. Kevin Schiedenhelm was undefeated against John Corey of Coon Rapids, who's undefeated. And if Schiedenhelm could win, and if he could score a fall, his team would take first place at single A. So it's important. And at AAA, Mike Flynn of Davenport Assumptions wrestling Johnny Scott of East Waterloo. That's at AAA. Now let's go back to our main match here, which is AA.
Here we see Colbett from Eagle Grove just ducking underneath, getting in behind for the 2-point takedown. Colbett's not a stranger to this position, Doug. He's been in the finals every year since he was a freshman.
No change. He won only once.
He's won once, but he's been here 4 times. Not many guys that get to the finals 4 times. Not very many guys that get to the finals once. So he understands this position. And I think he's determined to try to be a 2-time champion and 2-time runner-up. Whereas Doug Rogers from Mount Vernon, the man who just got the escape, says, oh, this is his first time into the state tournament. He's been wrestling behind the 2 Randall boys from Mount Vernon for all those years. You know, they were a 4-timer and a 2-timer. So he's had a little bit of trouble even making the team for a number of years, let alone getting into the state finals.
Score is 2-1. Colfett had the takedown. Rogers the escape.
Colvette's one of those guys that has a tremendous feel, real good balance. He's got the most career wins in Eagle Grove history with over 105, and they've produced guys like Ron Gray and Dave Morgan, three-time state champions. So, you know, this is a guy that knows how to win for them.
In that Corey Siedenheld match, it's Corey 2-0. Corey got the takedown in the first period.
And in the 3A, Mike Flynn from Davenport Assumption's leading Johnny Scott from Waterloo East 2-0.
Here's the takedown at the end of the period by Jeff Colfett. He takes the lead 4-1 into the second period. Takedown. We'll look at it again.
He's in this position. He pulls the arm out quick. That's a good snaps it down, then just spins in behind. Real quick movement. That's what made that work. You know, he snapped this move rather than dragging through him.
He started in the bottom second period, leading by 3, and he's out already, 5-1.
There's that headlock that young Doug Rogers likes, but Colvett felt that coming, and he pulled out of it.
He looked like he was looking for it.
Well, I'm sure they've seen it. You know, you can't wrestle through the whole tournament 3 or 4 matches and not see what the other guy's got. And especially if you're a balanced wrestler. Colvett has a lot of balance, and he great feel. So he reacts well to those kind of things.
Here's this, again, it's Colfett on the position on top.
Right, he felt it coming, he made the shot. Now watch him spin in behind, catches the chin, then he comes in behind, takes the 2-point takedown.
6-1, 7-1 it should be, 7-1.
He does have pinning ability. You know, he'll tie up the arms and then try to work the cradles. Now you see
cross-face cradle from the looks of that one.
Yeah, and he does have that. He oftentimes will try to get in that position where he can get that length working for him.
He's confident. He's up high on the head. He just let him out. Now 7-2.
I think he feels a little more at ease in this match than he has other ones. Now he penetrated in deep, but he's starting to lose position. He's got to be able to get himself back in position first. There he did. He wisely, instead of hanging on and getting extended, he let go of it and came back out into control.
7-2 with 44 seconds left and counting here in the second period. Jeff Colfett of Eagle Grove. And again, he spins around for a takedown. It's 9-2.
Right in single A, we're seeing Belle Plains' hopes dashed a little bit as John Corey from Coon Rapids is leading Kevin Cheatenhelm 4-2.
And Mike Flynn has a 4-2 lead over Johnny Scott at AAA. That's Flynn of Assumption, Scott of East Waterloo.
Here Colvett from Eagle Grove has good pressure on him now. He's going back to that crossface again. And if he can control that elbow, he'll be in a position to try to drive him to the back. The young Rogers is losing his base here, so he can't get it going.
And a 7-point lead for Colfett as we go to the last period at 1:55. Colfett started out when he was a freshman, qualifying at 105 pounds. And he got bigger, 119, won a state championship there as a sophomore, then 132, and now he's up 155.
Well, both of these young guys are real smart. You know, Colvett's already been nominated to the Naval Academy. You know, he's a member of the National Honor Society, and young Doug Rogers is just an all-around student. In track, plays in the band, played on the football team, all-state football player. So, you know, they do other things besides just wrestle, which I think is good for some of the young viewers to take to heart.
We have 1:45 to go.
As I recall, I talked at the Eagle Grove Banquet a couple of years ago. This young Jeff Colfett's father was a state place winner for Eagle Grove probably 100 years ago.
His father is here, so you don't have to worry about him hearing somebody say that.
Coach Ryland told me that, so I know that we'll probably be able to talk to him about it. But he's a very tough rider. You know, he keeps good pressure on, and has the arms all tied up. I wouldn't doubt it if the referee here didn't, you know, get him for not trying to work for a fall pretty soon. You know, he's winning the Academy Award again. You know, he's really not after it. I'm sure if he was behind, he'd be out there really gunning him.
1A. It's now Corey 6-2 over Sheedenhelm in the battle of the unbeatens. Belle Plaine really needs that one for the team race, but Sheedenhelm is behind 6-2. And you see Coltvet here racking it up at AA.
Well, in the AAA, Mike Flynn from Davenport Assumption now leads Johnny Scott from Waterloo East 5-4, so that match has closed down a little bit. Now he's got the bar arm and a half. Now this is where you get turned. You know, if you can get the half in deep on the head, because the chicken wing is isolating one arm.
Just 20 seconds to go here, Chuck. Chuck Patton, for 18 years, the head coach at the University of Northern Iowa here. I'm Doug Brown, and we're at Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines for the state championships.
Well, he's not really after this thing. He's going to get the win and not worry about turning him over. Oh, not till it's too late.
There it is. He got two back points, makes it 11-2. 11-2. The winner is Jeff Coltvet, his second state championship. His fourth time in the top two. Over Doug Rogers of Mount Vernon at 155, AA division, live here on Iowa Public Television.
There's their dad.
There's his dad.
That was 100 years ago, state place winner, huh?
Hard to believe he's that old. He looks in great shape. 1A now. This is Sheedenhelm against Corey, and Corey is leading here 6-2. Make it 6-3. He just let Sheedenhelm out, and Sheedenhelm tried a shot on the leg right there with about a minute to go in the third period.
Well, the shot was good. You know, he penetrated in and was in good position, but he stopped his motion, and that let John Corey from Coon Rapids have a chance to get in better position against him.
Out of bounds. That good work by Sheedenhelm, but he let it happen on the other side of that boundary. 52 seconds to go. We're at 1A now, 155.
I know that Sheedenhelm from Belle Plaine's had some trouble. You can see his wrist and hand all taped up right there. So he's had some trouble with that during the tournament. Apparently that's bothering him a little bit. So he can't grab a hold of things very well. You know, he's having just trouble putting a little bit of pressure on. There's a nice counter to a leg attack, but John Corey comes right back in. Now he stopped his motion, you see, and now he's getting drawn out of position. But with the lead he's got, maybe that's what he wants to do, is just let the time go by.
Belle Plaine really would like to get this. They trail by 3 with 12 seconds to go. Al Billings was the 1984 Coach of the Year in 1A. He's from Belle Plaine. His team has done so well, but they are 5 points out of the lead here.
And they're going to be losing that takedown. Corey wins 8-3.
Corey wins 8-3 in the single A division. The battle of the unbeatens there. John Corey of Coon Rapids is the winner. You already saw Jeff Coltvet wrap it up at AA, and at the same time this match was ending, the AAA match was wrapping up, and I believe that Mike Flynn pulled that one out 7-6 at the end. We'll hear more about that a little bit later on as we get our floor reports. 155 pounds now completed. Let's go to the award stand and the 145-pound individual placement recognition. First of all, we have the awards for the small schools from Class A, 145 pounds.
Presenting the Class 1A 145-pound awards, Coach John Vandeweed of Durant. 6th place, Brian Piper, Stuart Menlo. 5th place, Kurt Salto, Riceville. 4th place, Alan Sigmund, Alleman North Polk. 3rd place, Kirk Vespestead, Bondurant Farrar. Runner-up, Mark Nygaard, Rock Valley. And the Class 1A 145-pound champion from Durant, Kevin Call.
There you go, Kevin. He had a tough one with Mark Nygaard. He won by 1 point. But 1 point's as good as a million.
That certainly is.
State championships at Veterans Auditorium. We're looking at the award stand now again for the winners at AA between 2 perennial powers, top of the stand, North Central Iowa.
6th place, Scott Yockwith, Gilbertville Don Bosco. 5th place, Scott Garris, Grundy Center. 4th place, Matt Lang, Johnston. Third place, Darren Holst, Griswold. Second place, Brad Coulon, Algona. And the 145-pound Class 2A champion, Jeff Kelly of Britt.
Certainly two familiar names, yes, Kelly and Britt.
There they are. And a couple of fine coaches there, too. Al DeLeon was the man who gave the awards at that weight. AA 145. Now their places on the stand are being taken by the AAA winners. We're going to have a three-time champion here.
Mike Boland, Indianola. Fifth place, Steve Millard, Clinton. Fourth place, Greg Stockdale, Fort Dodge. Third place, Joe Heineck, Prairie Cedar Rapids. Runner-up, Tim Johnson, Davenport Central. And the Class 3A 145-pound champion from Mason City, Tim Krieger.
Hey, how about that? Three-time champion. He looked tough tonight. Although Tim Johnson I think gets the best black eye award in the tournament.
Certainly does. Tim Krieger looked like he's just about a freshman in high school, doesn't he?
And he's really tough. Let's go to Dick Trotter.
All right, Doug, we had an upset in the AAA division of the 155-pound weight class where Mike Flynn of Davenport Assumption decisioned Johnny Scott of East Waterloo, who was second last year. Here you see the tail end of the match, and Johnny Scott showing everybody he's number one as he came back with a last-second reversal to beat Johnny Scott, who was fourth in 82 and second in 83, and now second again in 84, but he's only a junior. Okay, Doc, back to you.
Thank you, Dick. Let's go to 167. We're working with the AA people all the way through heavyweight. As a matter of fact, we'll probably start there at super heavyweight 2. We have 167, 185, heavyweight and super heavyweight to go. Griswold has it locked up at AA, and Dowling has it locked up in 3A. And we're going to see our first Griswold wrestler here in a championship match. They have a couple coming up. This is Mark Emsick, and he's 32-0. He's undefeated, and he'll be up against the second of the Algona team to be in the state championship, Todd Lappy. Todd Lappy, and we're going to be seeing also the 1984 official of the year, Don Holmes of Benton, in charge of this match.
You know, Todd Lappy from Algona is 27-2, but both of those losses were to a 3A wrestler who's not in this division. So technically, against their caliber competition, we got two boys that are about equal.
And we'll get you back here as soon as we line up the other matches at 167. At 1A, it's Jack Denholm of Parkersburg against Tom Kaufman of Trayer, North Tame. But Trayer is in there in the chase, too, you know. They can do something big. They can do well at the team score. At AAA, it's Russell Stephen of New Hampton against Tony Hanson of Waterloo West. And we'll keep an eye on those, too. Emsick of Griswold against Lappy. Emsick is in the blue, the light blue, with his back to you.
Well, we don't have any score, but we're going to see some score in this match because these two guys really go after it. I know Emsick has got the most wins in his school history, the consecutive, with over 30 coming into this tournament. So he's a team leader. You know, he's just done a great job for their program down there. Plays on the football team that was in the state semifinals. You know, he just understands a lot about it. His coach used to coach at Abraham Lincoln Council Bluffs. So he's got some background in there with wrestling.
We have no score. They've gone through about a minute. Emsick got a little out of position there, but here it comes under the arm. He's got a real good sneak drag out of there where he comes out. And now he's got the arm tied up tight underneath Lappy from Algona. And as long as he keeps that kind of pressure, you know, he'll be able to maybe come out around the head. He's got that shoulder posted on the far side. He's got that arm underneath him. He's in pretty good shape. You heard the referee say either use it or get off it. Meaning you got to let that arm go if you're not going to do something with it to try to turn him over with it. Lappy's on his feet and out. 2-1 is the score.
Well, Emsick tends to want to let you go. He's a good takedown man. He's more of an inclination is to let you go when you're on your feet. He does have some some singles in into the fireman's carry technique. But it's no fluke that Griswold's here.
End of the period. 2-1 the lead. And Laffey has a little blood in the mouth. There's Donald Holmes. Let's see him up there in the right-hand corner. As we said, he was the 1984 official of the year.
What it is.
That's a great honor for him.
Young man, he won the toss. He
Veteran official.
Fred,
What'd they say?
this way, please.
Over 30,000. Now watch that little Kelly out of there. He had the arm tied up, just lifted one elbow, sat his hips underneath, came in tight.
Sit still. Come on,
Takedown.
Now we're ready to go, second period. It's Emsick on top, starting out, but Laffey's out already in the 2-2.
Laffey did a nice job of getting to his feet and shedding the arms. Now here's where Emsick, again, he likes to be in this position where he can get in close and hold on to you and tie up so he can get into that fireman's carry kind of position. He's good with that. I would think that would be an area that young Laffey from Algona would not want to let him get there. And there's a good, nice, penetrating shot from Laffey from Algona. Carried his hips in nice. Just didn't finish it by continuing his motion in a circle. Real good effort. Real nice technique on that. You see, they're just kind of squared off right here. Neither man has really made an effort in that position, but they've got themselves here before. And young Emsick from Griswold has to carry his hips in a little better when he goes in on those to be successful.
Is the score with about 50 seconds to go in the second period.
As you can see him touch the head and then make the offensive effort, but it's more of a reach with the upper body extended and horizontal than it is a step and a penetrating move with the lower body coming in.
Emsick on the left. It's Laffey of Algona on the right. Emsick of Griswold. Griswold has wrapped it up. Double A. Doesn't make a difference what Emsick does. The team's going to win. But they'd like to have at least one champion.
You bet.
They just stormed through the wrestlebacks today.
Yeah, they're what they call the medal round, the placing round. They really came through with a lot of people just doing a great job for them.
In the single A match, Denholm leads, Parkersburg leads Kaufman of Prayer, North Tama 5-4 in a really tough match.
Yes, and in the 3A, Tony Hansen from Waterloo West is leading Russell Stephen from New Hampton 3-0 in the end of the second period.
We have a 2-2 draw at the end of tie at the end of 2 periods at Double A.
Red is down.
Now they go to the...
Face this way, Red, please.
Come into this last period. Yeah, come into the last period. This is where it's going to be decided. Young Laffey's a pretty good rider. He does a lot of spiral riding where he comes under one arm and back into the thigh. You know, and he'll block that thigh. You see that one arm back in the thigh, and then he'll fish for a wrist. Keep a lot of pressure towards your head with that thing. Ties up your arms, you know, kind of runs the pressure towards your head, keeps you extended and off balance with that. Now with the score 2-2, I don't know whether he turns well out of it or not, but I've watched him some, and I know that he can stay with almost anybody with this kind of ride, but riding isn't going to do any good. Now it's going to have to be turning to the back.
2-2. He's managed to handle Emsick thoroughly here for the first...
Action by both. Let's go under. Let's go on top.
40 seconds.
Well, Emsick has been such a good takedown man. You know, they're a team that's got 400 and some takedowns this year. Griswold is. So he may not be as good on the down position as maybe he is in the other position. So,
well, he's 32-0. He may not be on the bottom very often.
That's right. Just not accustomed to it. And I'm sure that young Todd Laffey from Algona has got to figure some way, not just to ride, but he's going to have to score some points out of this position.
Well, Todd Laffey is coached by Bill Petlin, who was a great rider in college, one of probably his strong suit when he was wrestling for Iowa State. And here's Todd Laffey doing very well on top of the score. 2-2, 35 seconds to go.
Well, now he's at a point where if it isn't turned now, it's at least don't get high and don't lose it. See, there's the spiral, the half, and the arm inside of the thigh. He's got to keep that pressure toward the head now, because now it's not a matter of turning him over. It's a matter of not letting him go and then hold him. Now, I caught him in a suckback, but he just didn't quite have the back exposed.
10 seconds to go.
It's a ride now for a draw going to an overtime.
Well, there was one move. They had to have a move. But Emsick couldn't quite roll through it. So we now have 3 one-minute overtime periods. They'll start, as they do in a regular match, on their feet for the first period. And then somebody will be up in each of the next 2. But they'll be only 1 minute long. Just like a whole new little match.
We do have a takedown over here, right?
And sometimes this is where conditioning pays off. But it's attitude and conditioning. So if you have a good attitude and you don't have any shape, it won't make any difference. You know, but if you have that conditioning that will let you run into this next 3-minute match, oftentimes fatigue just will cost you if you're not ready to go.
That's Mark Emsick of Griswold, 32 straight wins this year. He qualified last year at this weight, did not place. He's a senior. Todd Laffey finished 6th at 2A at this weight last year. He's only a junior. That's right. He comes out of that strong traditional program up there. Now we're ready to go. First overtime period. Just erase all the points from the board. That 2-2 in the regular meet is behind us now.
And we saw in that first regular match, Emsick got a nice little fireman's carry on Laffey from Algona. And Laffey probably won't want him to get over top of his arms again this time. There's a long shot, but it's just too far out with the head down and not in position. There's his carry position again now. That's back where he wants to be.
Trapping that arm on the side you see nearest you.
Yeah, not only does it trap it with his arm, he traps it with his elbow. You know, he'll try to pinch that arm in tight and then sit in underneath.
Go in there.
Well, Tom Kaufman of Strayer, North Tama pulled from behind to roll up a big win over Jack Denham at 1A over Parkersburg, 14-6. Tom Kaufman a champion there.
Right, and Tony Hansen from Waterloo West won a state championship for himself with a 7-1 victory over Russell Stephen from New Hampton.
That's a AAA. Here we are, AA overtime. The first period is scoreless. It just ended right there.
Headgear, son.
Saw young Laffey from Algona looking at his coach, making his thumb go, what do I want to do? Do I want to be up or down? And it looks like he's got to fix his headgear, and then we'll make a decision on what he wanted to do. There's Coach Fetland from Eagle Grove, or Algona. He wrestled at Eagle Grove in high school, and now he coaches at Algona.
And it's going to be Laffey down.
Okay,
Emsick up. Now, Laffey stood up twice and got out against him, and he's going to do it again.
Right, he got that foot up there to replace it. Before the arm could be jammed down, he got a foot out there to replace his brace. So he scored his point.
Now, Emsick knows he has to do something here because Laffey has been much more successful as a rider than Emsick has. Laffey's escaped 3 times, and Emsick hasn't been able to get out. So he's going to have to do something on his feet here.
You got to go now. There he's penetrating in, but you see, his penetration comes with his head and his arm. There's a nice counterattack by Laffey, and look how patient he is with this, Doug. You know, he's making sure he secures it first. You know, he's backing out, trying to make sure that he keeps the position before he tries to score the takedown.
And he got it. With 19 seconds to go. And now it really is tough for Emsick. He's down by 3, and he's only 10 seconds away from having to start on the bottom again.
Right, and he's out of position as well as out of time.
There it is. Second period is over, and Don Holmes is going to send him back to the center again in the same position in which they ended that period.
You are not tight. Ready, Ender? Coach. Sit still, please. Let's go on top.
Griswold, boy, I tell you, he had a heck of a team this year. State champion team.
Did you hear him tell these young men? He said, you are not tired. You know, he's trying to convince the young guy, Mark Emsick, that he's got enough to go. Keep on going. You know, don't let yourself think tired. You know, think win this match.
But Laffey rode Griswold's Emsick out in the third period. Yes, he's got arm control right now. Now, what he's not doing is trying to turn him over. Now, I don't know how the official will look at this, but you know, in order to turn a guy, you got to have an angle. Okay, no way. You know, now he's got an angle, so he has potential. But when you stand behind somebody, it's really hard to turn him. 3-0 lead for the man on top. Laffey of Algona. Been a down year for Algona in some ways. They have a couple of 2 or 3 outstanding individuals, but I know Bill Fetlin a little disappointed. His team actually had a losing record this year for the first time in how long? There it is. The warning went against the man on top, but that doesn't make any difference. He had it wrapped up. It's 3-1 in the overtime after a 2-2 regular session. Laffey, only a junior. That's at 167 in our AA match. And we're going to now let you see the place winners at 155, single A first.
Coach Rick Sadell of Coon Rapids. 6th place, Lance Bosberg, Mobile, Woodbury Central. 5th place, Danny Lanfear, Monroe. 4th place, Jeff Storjohan, Gladbrook. 3rd place, Tom Griffin, Lorenz Marathon. Runner-up, Kevin Shedenhelm, Belle Plaine. And the Class 1A 155-pound champion from Coon Rapids, John Corey.
He won the battle of the unbeatens at that weight. He finished the season 34-0. John Corey won it 8-3 over Shedenhelm. 155. Well, we're getting bigger now. We just finished up the 167 wrestling. We'll go to 185 next. We're seeing the Wards at 155 now. And here's AA.
6th place, Darrell Randall, Osage. 5th place, David Henderson, Bloomfield, Davis County. 4th place, Tim McEwen, Cedar Rapids, LaSalle. 3rd place, Rick Norris, Independence. Runner-up, Doug Rogers, Mount Vernon. And the Class 2A 155-pound champion from Eagle Grove, Jeff Coatvet.
And he went 32 straight this year for his 2nd title. He won one when he was a sophomore. Coached by Marv Ryland. Those are the AA winners. And the AA team champion is going to be Griswold. They had it wrapped up coming into the title round tonight. They did so well in the consolations. Here are the AAA winners at 155.
Davenport Assumption. 6th place, E.C. Mulehoff, West Des Moines Dowling. 5th place, Bart Taylor, Council Bluffs AL. 4th place, Jim Stapleton, Mason City. 3rd place, Joe Horton, Southeast Polk Runnels. 2nd place, Johnny Scott, Waterloo East. And the 3A 155-pound champion from Davenport Assumption, Mike Flynn.
Mike Flynn qualifies, I guess, as a little bit of an upset. There he is, the champion. We're going to get a floor report now from Dean Borg.
North Tama of Traer has a state wrestling champion tonight. At 167 pounds, Tom Kaufman defeated Jack Denholm of Parkersburg. Kaufman 4-0 after the first period. Denholm came back to tie it 6-6 in the 2nd period, but Kaufman roared back with reversal and 6 back points in the 3rd period to defeat Denholm 14-6, and the champion is Tom Kaufman at 167. Dick Trotter.
All right, Dean. Tony Hansen of West Waterloo wrestled a very methodical match. 1 takedown in the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd periods, respectively, as he defeated Russell Stephen of New Hampton comfortably by the margin of 7-1. And there you see a happy Tony Hansen racing into the arms of Donnie Hopp of West Waterloo. That's the championship in Class 3A 167. Now back to you, Doug.
Now we go to 185 at AA. We're going to look at Jerry Hansel of Cedar Rapids Regis against Tim Stanley of Grundy Center. And already they're at it out there. The man on top is Tim Stanley of Grundy Center. 2-0. Just as we start. By the way, we think that unofficially here, it looks as if Dallas Center has wrapped it up at 1A too, because Traer is 1/2 point behind them in second place, and nobody left to wrestle. Up in the corner, we're going to show you the people at 1A. Brad Bayer of Greenfield against Pat Rule of Parkersburg. And there they are, and we then at AAA we'll have Andy Peterson of City High of Iowa City and Joel Greenlee of Waverly West Shell Rock. That's Waverly Shell Rock. They're undefeated both. As we said, it looks as if Dallas Center is the A champion now, 61 points. And Traer, North Tama, 60 and a half. They go half a point short.
It's a tremendous showing by that Traer team, though.
You bet it is.
Well, in this match, we're just getting started. We on the air, but we only have about 40 seconds left. With
We're back to the middle, guys.
2-1. Tim Stanley from Grundy Center leading 2-1 over Jerry Hansel from Cedar Rapids Regis. Now, these two guys met in the finals of their district a week ago, and Tim Stanley won it by 1 point. So they're familiar with each other. And this is the farthest any wrestler from Regis has ever gone to the finals of the tournament. First time they've ever had anybody in the finals, Cedar Rapids Regis.
They're both seniors. Stanley finished third last year.
You know, Stanley is very small, really. You can see the difference between these two guys. I know that he weighed in this morning at 178 to wrestle 185, so you know, he's not in favor of cutting weight.
Nope, you're backing off, son. You're backing off. You got to stay in there.
But he has a lot of freestyle experience. He does a lot of freestyle, and he's got good hips. He likes to throw, and he's not opposed to letting somebody come in so he can catch him and try to throw him.
A warning there against Hansel, who trails 2-1.
Second period.
Well, this young Hansel is just an all-around athlete. He's played on there
are the team standings, by the way, we gave you. We told you, as we said, Traer is a half a point out, and since neither of those two teams has a wrestler left, that's the way it's going to end.
That's right.
None of the contenders up there in the top 2 or 3 spots has anybody left in heavyweight or super heavyweight.
Well, that's a great effort by all those young men in those teams. Get themselves bunched together into a group and be able to end up in that position.
Out, 2-2. That evens the score. It's 2-2 now. Stanley of Grundy Center on with his back to you. Hansel of Cedar Rapids Regis.
Keep there.
This is kind of a position that Stanley from Grundy Center, his back to you, he prefers this more than Jerry Hansel from Cedar Rapids Regis does. You know, he likes to be in this position close because he's familiar and accustomed to it. So it's like I said with a young call boy from Durant. Those hips will hurt you. You come in there and get a little bit out of pressure.
Stay in a circle.
You get hurt with the hips by getting thrown.
Yeah, you talked about the difference in height. Their book heights are Hansel 6 feet, Stanley 5'10", but I think that's kind of a tippy-toe 5'10".
Yeah, I would say so. And probably as a squashed down 6 foot. But he did play in their state football championship team and their second place team from Cedar Rapids Regis, so he's a good athlete. He's participated. He definitely knows how to win. I'm sure that it'll be interesting to see how this match progresses because it's been a 1-point win for Stanley the last time they competed.
We're in the last 35 seconds now of the second period at 185 pounds. We're in the AA division.
There's not a lot of activity in it. It's one of those ones where you kind of get bored watching it, and so you tend not to pay much attention to it, and then all of a sudden somebody goes real quickly, and there's a lot of points all at once, because when they go, they usually go right to their back.
We have 10 seconds to go.
Just kind of afraid to make a connect. There's Stanley in on a single. Now, he followed it well with his hips, but he ran out of time.
But that's the end of the period. The 1A match, by the way, just ended with a fall. And there are the Team 2A standings. Griswold has it racked up. They had it ready before they got into tonight's matches. And there's Dowling. They had it. Oh, they ran away with it.
Certainly did.
Out of bounds. We start the second period. start the second period with Hansel up in a 2-2 match. By the way, as I started to say, the 185-pound match ended in a fall. Pat Rule of Parkersburg cradled up Brad Beyer of Greenfield and pinned it.
Well, here you see Stanley trying to get to his feet. He wants to get up and get out of there because Hansel is really a pretty good rider. He's not real big, but he does a good job of being able to change off on you. If he can keep Stanley down on the mat, it'll wear him out because there's that size differential in there. So Tim Stanley from Grundy Center, the man on the bottom right now, is going to want to get to his feet.
I'm moving down there.
He wants to get up, and he likes to be here. Okay, he'll reach back over top of the back, and this is where he throws. Now there he just lost the arm in an attempt to do a standing roll, but he came back in and has the leg. And no points are given here until they either let go of the leg or they go off the mat.
Either an escape or a...
He's either going to get an escape or reversal. Right.
You got one, both up.
There was a warning against Stanley at the bottom, too. You probably heard. Referee Gene Luttrell give it. We have a minute left, third period. 3-2 now in favor of Stanley in the darker uniform on the right.
Well, you mentioned that 1A match ending in a fall. At 3A, Andy Peterson from Iowa City High and Joel Greenlee from Waverly Shellrock are tied 2-2 going into the third period.
Neither one of them wants to lose. They haven't lost all year. That's a battle of undefeated.
Oh, I'm not sure either one of these guys wants to win. They just aren't really going after it.
Double warning.
Double.
1 point. You're both stalling, guys. Neither one of you do anything. 1 point apiece.
That's what the referee felt.
So it's 4-3 now.
Maybe he was reading my mind or I was reading his.
You're flashing signals or something to him over there. Put that hand in the air.
If you want it, you got to go after it, Doug. It's just that simple.
Out of bounds with, 19 seconds to go.
You got to make that commitment. You got to be able to control something and make a commitment if you want to score the points.
Well, sometimes, here's a shot,
a little too far away.
But sometimes as if they really are committed, but they're committed to one thing, and if it doesn't work, they don't change to something else. And with the score 4-3, it ends that way.
Big hands, man.
It's going to be a victory for Tim Stanley of Grundy Center, so he ends an undefeated season by winning a state title, 185 pounds, AA. We told you the single A match ended in a fall, but the 3A match is still going here. 2-2 with 1:19 to go between Andy Peterson of City High and Joel Greenlee of Waverly Shellrock. Peterson is on the mat underneath in this third period.
And Greenlee, the young man in black on top from Waverly Shellrock, has almost lost his hip position here. You can see Peterson coming out, stepping across him. Greenlee tends to want a leg, and he legs and cradles well. Peterson is over the leg, so he's got to come into him right now. If he gets into this position, it's not unlikely he'll score a reversal here. Greenlee kind of caved in on that. He wants to get back up on top and get his hips up off the mat. He still has control, but this is not a good spot to be in.
Peterson, the mat's all important here.
Right,
now.
Peterson is inching his way out of there, but Greenlee still has a little bit of control. But it's hard to imagine that he's not going to give this because they're both right on that line or out.
There it is. Back to the center, 2-2. 29 seconds to go.
Yeah, you don't want to let a man come across you and let your hips cave in. You know, you just can't wrestle sitting on your rear or laying on your side. I always used to tell the boys if God would have meant you to be faster there, he'd have given you shoes for your rear end. You know, because you got to stay on your feet. There's a quick blast by both guys. He's caught him in a cradle now.
No back points.
Didn't quite hold him there. He had those hands locked, but he didn't quite get him there. There's the legs back.
He got back points.
Now he got him.
Boy, now he can afford to let him go. It's 4-2. He can afford an escape now.
He just doesn't want to get reversed.
That's right. 4-2 in favor of Greenlee in this battle of undefeated wrestlers at 185 in AAA.
See, now he catches him with the hips, blocks off, comes back and takes the head to the back, has him caught on his back for the near fall points.
Used the legs there, and that
certainly had him isolated with the legs. That's right, Doug.
So we have 7 seconds to go. He'll stay right there.
Yeah, he's trapped right now. It's over.
That's it. 4-2. The back points. That's an interesting way to win it. Joel Greenlee finishes an undefeated season, defeating Andy Peterson of City High School. Joel Greenlee of Waverly Shell Rock at 185 pounds. Gets greetings. Looks like his mother out there. Down out of the stands and happy people. Now the awards at 167, 1A.
Awards, assistant coach Josh Ewell of Traer, North Tama. 6th place, Rick Birkenpass, Rock Valley. 5th place, Dan Poppinga, Manson. 4th place, John Becker, Liberty Center, Southeast Warren. 3rd place, Travis Blair, Durant. 2nd place, Jack Denholm, Parkersburg. And the 167 1A champion from Traer, North Tama, Tom Kaufman.
Good work from a young man whose team finished 1/2 point out of first place. Traer of North Tama, coached by Jeff Selby, who had capped off a successful year. So those are the winners at 167 in the single A division. Now let's look at the ones in double A.
6th place, John Mosher, Tiffin, Clear Creek. 5th place, Mike Sholey, Cedar Rapids, LaSalle. 4th place, Randy Long, Independence. 3rd place, Roger Kopus, Cascade. Runner-up, Mark Emsick, Griswold. And the Class 2A 167-pound champion from Algona, Todd Lappy.
Todd Lappy, a junior from Algona. Long line of champions from that north central Iowa town, Algona. Todd Lappy. 167 pounds double A. Veterans Auditorium on Iowa Public Television. Live coverage of the State Wrestling Championships 1984. Now the triple A's.
6th place, Dave Christ, Dubuque Wallert. 5th place, Pat Militich, Bettendorf. 4th place, Blair Early, Davenport West. 3rd place, Chris Geneser, West Des Moines Dowling. 2nd place, Russell Stephen, New Hampton. And the 3A 167-pound champion from Waterloo West, Tony Hansen.
Attaboy, Tony. Tony Hansen. Let's go to Dean Board.
You'll soon see Pat Rule up on that champion stand. Pat Rule of Parkersburg was leading 3-2 into the 2nd period, and then he threw a cradle on his opponent, Brad Byer of Greenfield, and there you see it was a very tight cradle. About 15 seconds was all it took, and he had his shoulders in the mat, and it was a pin. And the champion at 185, Class A, Pat Rule of Parkersburg. Dick Trotter, you have a guest.
Right, Dean. We've got right now a super wrestler at 145, a 3-time state champion from Mason City. 4th as a freshman, Tim Krager. Tim scored a record 38-8 before he got his pin in 5:46. You always score over 20 points, Tim?
Oh, not usually. I was just trying to go for the fall, basically.
Well, had you not pinned him, you would have scored a record scoring 38 points against your opponent. What are we going to look for next year?
Oh, well, I got a few things to get out of the way, you know, thinking about college and stuff. Got a lot better, you know, bigger and better things to get after next year, I guess.
Good luck to you, Tim. And now back to you, Doug.
Well, he's going to get plenty of invitations, we'll tell you that.
There's no doubt about that. He's lucky to have a door left on his house by the time this recruiting season gets.
He'll go home and there'll be somebody up in the tree with
4 or 5 of them
with an offer. Well, I'll tell you what, we have heavyweights coming up, and then after that, we'll have the super heavyweights, huh? The cutoff is what, 220 pounds?
Yes, 230 pounds.
230 pounds. If you weigh more than 230 pounds, you have to go to super heavyweight. Some people ate a lot to make it, others cut a lot to avoid it. And here at heavyweight, we have the double A's, Chad Hennings of Benton Community Van Horn against Mike Zinno of Humboldt.
And he's caught him really tight in there. I don't know if they're going to stay on the mat or not. But that's a young man from Van Horn who's got a lot of pins. In fact, he's got 24 pins this season, 16 of them in a row.
We'll talk about the 1A match right now, too, because Dick Morrison of North English English Valley is against Mike Hansen of New London. And the AAA match will be between Andy Heyman, fine young wrestler from City High of Iowa City, against Kelly Flynn of what is going to be the state champion team, Dowling. Double A's, here we are. And we have Hennings on top. He's undefeated this year at 30 matches.
As I said, he's got a lot of falls this year. 24 falls out of 31 wins means that there's a lot of people that have looked up at the lights at this young man from that. He's very tall, 6'4", but he only weighs 220. He was a 185-pounder last year. So here he is putting on, 35 pounds from last year, and now he's a heavyweight and he's in the finals. Might have been a good move for him, Doug, to let his body grow and grow on up. He's a real smart young man. He's been accepted into the Air Force Academy, so he's got to be an intelligent young man and got to have a lot of character. They wouldn't even consider him at that place.
Dowling has the AAA championship wrapped up with 115 points. The second place team is Mason City, led by three-time champion Tim Krieger with 87.5 points, but there's still a lot of daylight between them. Dowling had it wrapped up before the championship round started. Hennings against Zinel. Hennings with a 5-0 lead still against that. You see both are wearing blue.
Humboldt has a yellow stripe down the front. It looks like a yellow stripe. It's really Humboldt written down the front of their uniform.
That's Chad Hennings. Chad qualified last year, as you said, but didn't place.
There he's got a cradle lock. This is locked pretty tight now. Depends on what happens with the arm and what he does with it. But he does have his hands locked. He knows how to use this if he can get himself in a position to get under. There he came through on the cradle, got it locked, and if he gets his body in underneath.
He rolled out.
End of the period. End of the period. And he got near fall points, make it 7-0. The score in the A match is, well, let's take a look at this first before we give you those.
Watch him cut underneath. He kicks his body underneath. Now, that's not where you fall over top of the guy. He drove his body right underneath. Hennings drove his body right underneath the man from Humboldt in order to get him over into that cradle. Now, he's given the cradle to him again. There it is again. See, he didn't get hand control, and he put his head back toward his knee. Now, what the man has to do on top here is just put his pressure into him a little bit. You know, if he just moves him with his hip, then it gives him an opportunity to cut underneath, but he didn't want to take the chance.
He decided to give it up. We said that at 1A, Dick Morrison of English Valley leading 5-0, 8-0 now over Mike Hansen of New London. And it's still 5-1 now. Heyman of Iowa City leading Flynn of Dowling at AAA.
Come on, man. Let's get it going. Both of you. Let's go.
Well, here he's locked cradle again, didn't he?
Yeah, he's locked this a reverse cradle instead of over the head. You know, he's come with one arm, he's come over the head with the other. In order to make this one work, he's got to go back across this man and come across on the other side.
No change, fellas.
Stalemate.
Green down. Let's
with about a minute and 5 seconds to go, second period.
Steady, cover.
Referee here is Don Crandall of Oskaloosa.
Well, this young Zinel from Humboldt's a real nice young guy. He receives high credits from everybody in Humboldt. Said that some people say, well, he's too nice a kid. You know, sometimes he likes his opponent so well he doesn't go out and really get kind of feisty and angry with him. Maybe he's caught in one of those things right now where he's got to get a little bit too much respect. Isn't really going as hard as he should.
He's down 7-0.
Well, he is a good pinner, and if he can just hold into that position. Now, here he's got the cradle. He's giving that back up again. By not having hand control, he's put himself back into that cradle. Whether he gets him over or does anything with it, it eats up time, and when you're down by 7, you know, you can't afford to let that kind of time go. There he's out. Pulled his arm through and got 1 point for a stand-up and escape.
That's his first point.
Up, you're out of bounds, fellas. Come up easy.
17 seconds to go.
Well, I know young Hennings was a basketball player, 6'4". He was a basketball player as a sophomore. So here's got 2 trips to the state tournament. He's back in deep on a double. Came right through him on a double.
9-1 with about 5 seconds to go in the second period. Good time to score because your man can't get anything back on you.
And he's got a big lead now, so it really puts the pressure on Mark Zinel from Humboldt to be able to to use his pinning ability to try to put Hennings on his back here. Now watch this. Here's a replay. See him penetrate in. Now watch how he carries his body through. He didn't just drop and grab at him. He dropped and penetrated on through.
Our 1A match, by the way, we've just discovered, ended in a fall for Dick Morrison over Mike Hansen of New London. Dick Morrison of English Valley, the winner, the state champion at heavyweight.
And in AAA, Andy Heyman from Iowa City High is leading Kelly Flynn from Des Moines Dowling 8-2.
And less than a minute and a half to go in that match. Here we are at AA. Chad Hennings is up 9-1.
He's just letting it go out of there. Now he's right. Boy, good job right there, Doug. He scored the 1 point, and instead of backing away, he came right back in on a double and scored 2 more for a takedown.
12-1.
That's good wrestling. A lot of young guys that are out here watching could learn from that. So he came right back into it again. You know, got his one, backed off, came right back through, scored the 2-point takedown. That's what you're supposed to do. Score right after a score. Good time.
Catch somebody asleep once in a while.
You catch him asleep a lot of times right after a score. Doesn't matter how the score is, whether it's from the top or the bottom. He just warned the man on the bottom here from Humboldt for not being
Let's go,
aggressive.
man. You've been warned. You got to get something going.
12-1. 2 seniors here.
He backed into that cradle again, you know, where he put his knee up, put his head down, but he let go of it. Now some of this is the top man's not really working for a fall either. You know, he's kind of riding and taking it easy. He's not really risking anything. So the bottom guy isn't doing much, and neither is the top guy.
Kind of a top. Get up here, move it, move it.
Oh, that's what the referee felt.
Well, you're right again. I didn't see you signal him that time either.
They must have some kind of light that goes on inside of their whistle or something, huh? They look down and see it. But you have to realize that aggression means one thing, but to wrestle for a fall means another. You know, you can be out of control, but you must try to make a concerted effort to put the man on his back.
Now, fellas, you've both been warned. Cover.
Referee is notifying him the next time it's a point for somebody.
There he caught him. Now, if he keeps the legs, might have a chance to get him on his back, but he rolled through that. That was good effort by Mark Zeno from Humboldt. He felt that, rolled his body on through.
Hennings, undefeated this year in 30 matches. This is his 31st, and he leads by 11 points, 12-1.
Well, in 2 years, he's 52-2, and played basketball through his sophomore year, so you can get an idea of the quality athlete this young guy is. When you can put that kind of record behind you with just out a lot of experience, it means that you have some real athletic talent.
Well, I don't know how he was in basketball.
Steady now, be set, cover.
But he shows a lot of athletic ability here.
He certainly does. He's got a brother in 7th grade. I'm sure that Coach Eckenrod is down there at Van Horn is hoping that the brother will grow to be as big as Chad is. Here's that cradle again. Now he's got him going toward his back with the cradle.
Here's side cradle. He has to get himself out of the way.
He may not pin him with this because the arm's up on top of the head, but he can sit in here for the remainder of the match and make sure that he wins it and get his 3-point.
And it'll be, as they end, 15-1 with a 3-point near fall. An impressive show by Chad Hennings of Benton Community of Van Horn.
Congratulations, young man.
He finished with a 31-0 year. Fine year for Chad. Here he comes. Heavyweight at AA. Well, we have the super heavyweights to come, but right now we're going to go to the award stand again because the 185-pound winners are up there waiting to get their medals. First, the A's.
185-pound awards, Coach Dale Stearns of Parkersburg. 6th place, Mike McNamara, Rock Valley. 5th place, Gary Leonard, Wyoming Midland. 4th place, Kerry Sanderson, Tripola. 3rd place, Eric Volker, Dallas Center Grimes. 2nd place, Brad Byer, Greenfield. And the Class 1A 185-pound champion from Parkersburg, Pat Rule.
Pat Rule. Pat Rule, who got his title on a pin tonight. It's nice to win, and it's nice to win it that way. Single A winners, 185 pounds. Now we're waiting for the double A sixth place winners to go up on the stand, and here they are.
Sixth place, Larry Dietrich, Garner Hayfield. Fifth place, Joe Malasek, Osage. Fourth place, Dan Vetter, Mount Pleasant. Third place, Kirk Russell, Griswold. Second place, Jerry Hansel, Cedar Rapids, Regis. And the 2A 185-pound champion from Grundy Center, Tim Stanley.
Tim Stanley, Grundy Center. And he went through the year undefeated in 32 matches. Now the 2A winners are leaving the stand, and up come the AAAs at 185.
Dotseth of Waverly Shellrock. Sixth place, Dave Williams, Charles City. Fifth place, Tom Brown, Prairie Cedar Rapids. Fourth place, Mark Cavanaugh, Clinton. Third place, Clint Long, Eldridge, North Scott. Second place, Andy Peterson, Iowa City, City High. And the 3A 185-pound champion from Waverly Shellrock, Joe Greenlee.
Smile there, Joe.
Well,
You betcha.
That was two undefeated guys in the finals against each other in a heck of a match.
Let's go to Dean.
Dick Morrison of North English lost in the first round here last year, but tonight he's the champion in Class A at heavyweight. He had Mike Hansen of New London in trouble for most of the match. 8-0 after the first period, Morrison leading, and then with the score 13-2, Morrison had Mike Hansen on his back, 10 seconds remaining in that second period, and he pinned him. Dick, what went on in 3A?
All right, Dean. Andy Heyman was a qualifier as a freshman and a sophomore, second place last year. This year he prevailed of Iowa City to become the state champion at heavyweight division under Clyde Bean, who is the 3A coach of the year. And there you see an excited Andy Heyman, who had no trouble disposing of Kelly Flynn of West Des Moines Dowling, 10-2. Back to you, Doug.
And not only that, he gave Iowa City third place. They moved up ahead of Fort Dodge, 79 points to 75.5. We're going to super heavyweight. These are people over 230 pounds. And we're going to see somebody from Griswold again. This is the state champion AA team. They've got it wrapped up. It's Tim Teets. And his opponent from Sheldon has been one of the real stories of this tournament. Jeff Schwartz of Sheldon, who came in with a 14-2 record. He qualified at super heavyweight last year, but did not place. And he has done nothing but pin people, and he's pinned them quick.
That's right. That's what's the shocker. Pins him in less than a minute.
Well, as a matter of fact, in his semifinal match, he pinned Jeff Weeks of Preston, who had been undefeated, in 12 seconds. 12 seconds. And he won his first one in 36 seconds. And quarterfinal night, he had to bring a lunch because it was 3:30.
Well, he likes to throw. This is what he wants to do right here.
Like that. Oh! I'll tell you.
There's one in 10 seconds.
10 seconds. If it's 10 seconds, it's a new state record. Well, I'll tell you what. If pinning gets boring, he's making it boring for everybody, right?
He doesn't even have a smile on his face. Now he's going to go over and
okay, now.
Holy cow.
They're happy to hug him because he's not sweating.
That's well stated. Just come into the state tournament when, let's see, you got a...
That was Jeff Schwartz.
Yeah, 12-seconder, a 10-seconder, and a 33-seconder. That's really something, isn't it?
Well, that's a state record. Okay. That happened at super heavyweight, and now we went up to single A. We went up to single A, and there's a pin.
Yeah, Manly and North Central's young man, Dan Stefani.
Dan Stefani, who was up against an undefeated wrestler. He wins. In, well, let's see. Oh, it took him a minute and 24 seconds. Things can happen like that in the super heavyweight division. They certainly can. The winner is Danny Stefani. Manly North Central.
Well, here he's got him on his back in this position. He's got the head and the arm locked up so tight the young man can't get either way, and he got the pin.
And that's it. Well, I'll tell you what, two of them in a hurry. Let's see, we have anybody left? How about AAA? We have somebody left?
Maybe we get a chance. There's Danny jumping up and down, very excited at winning that state title.
at super heavyweight, the 230-pound plus. Now here we go at 3A. Well, we're still in the first period here. We've got 30 seconds to go, and they're trying to throw. Look out. This is Cooper of Newton against Schemmel of Epworth, and it's Newton's man on the left, Greg Cooper in the white. And he's throwing, but he lost it, and he's on his back.
Well, that's a pretty big man to be on your back with, big Mike Schemmel. You go down like that, that puts him ahead 6-1. Schemmel from Epworth of West Dubuque. And he's got a lot of size. So it puts him in a position here to get through that first period with a 6-1 lead. Pretty good position.
And he's undefeated this year. Schemmel of Epworth, West Dubuque came into the match 21-0. And Greg Cooper had only wrestled 9 times this year, including in the tournament from Newton. He's 8-1.
Well, it is a little difficult when you're in that super heavyweight class. Sometimes you don't get very many matches because the other team has to have one for you to be able to wrestle.
Yeah, it isn't one of those things where you lose a forfeit if you don't have one, right?
No, and it just causes a little bit of problem. Some guys aren't very seasoned, very experienced. There's a nice escape for the young man from Epworth of West Dubuque.
7-1.
Well, we get back in here again now. He's got height on him because Schemmel's 6'4", and whereas his opponent's only 6 foot. You get those there. He gets the takedown, trips him to the mat for the other two.
9-1 with 1:10 to go, second period. Well, we had such quick pins here at the super heavyweight division that we only missed 1.5 minutes of this one.
It was like popcorn popping, Doug. One right after another.
Schwartz of Sheldon over, and Griswold, even though they lost in 10 seconds, they still win the state championship as a team.
Oh, I'm sure that coach is very excited about that. You know, you just don't win a state championship every year in that 2A class. There's all those teams with all that tradition and history. For Griswold to come up like that.
And they do it without a champion. They didn't have a champion.
That's right. But to get it done takes a lot of time, Doug. You don't just... Yeah, he's got that cradle locked in, and now he's going to be successful with that. He's got to get up toward the head and drive it. There he comes up toward the head. Got him tipped up toward his back now.
He won't pin him there. He'll get some points.
If you want to pin, you got to get that arm down underneath the guy.
10 seconds to go in the super heavyweight, or if you prefer, unlimited class.
The young man, Mike Schemmel from Epworth of West Dubuque, showing pretty good agility and mobility there, moving side to side.
So we come to the end of the second period. It's a 12-1 score.
12-1. Right, and if Craig Cooper from Newton wants to get back in this match, even with a score like that, he's got to not give up his arms. And that's what's happened to him so far. He's let an arm in there. So there's that arm, and he loses the arm. Now he's got off his base. Now, with a guy that much bigger than you, ties up your arms, just puts a lot of pressure on you. And then once he gets him tucked, now that shoulder is tucked. Now it's out around the head, and the guy's going to go right off the arm. And that's what he wants, is he wants one arm and just post his shoulder, then he can go out around the head and be in pretty good shape.
This is the last wrestling of the 1984 high school season. The last match to go in the championship tournament. Veterans Auditorium in Des Moines. Broadcast here live to you from Iowa Public Television. Now we have about 1:20 to go. 12-1. Setting up again.
Got to keep those arms free in the bottom. If you give away the arms, you're going to give away your base.
See what he does. Well, he kept him away from him for a moment, but that second move is the one that gets him.
That's right, Jake. And the man on top is doing a good job. Mike from Epworth of West Dubuque is doing a good job of going after him. If he'll give them to you, you want to just keep staying after him until you get him. Now he's digging in a chicken wing now. He's got the arm. Then he had to let go because the referee cautioned him for being potentially dangerous.
And it's an escape 12-2.
I like this under both arms. He's got the height.
That's going to be a penalty for backing away. A warning. 12-2 is the score still with 51 seconds to go.
Now he's under both arms. Now we'll see what Schemmel from West Dubuque does with him.
Oh, he did it. For a second,
but he lost it just at the end. Got caught in a headlock. Good mat savvy right there. Young Schemmel from West Dubuque.
He turned him around.
Turned him around, kept him on the mat.
And he might pin him here.
Got to turn him in now. Can't get the man off the mat.
Seconds left. What do we call it?
Apparently he thought it was dangerous. We can't see him give the signals. We're missing him.
What was it? We don't have a referee on the mic on the off mats, so we can't exactly know, but...
apparently it was a three-point near fall. Apparently it was a three-point near fall from the man from West Dubuque. And then it was a one-point choking penalty because he had the neck came across the throat with the arm.
17-3. We're at the end of this now. 3 seconds to go. They'll have to set him up in the center one more time. Set him up one more time. At unlimited division. It's a big win for Mike Schemmel. He finishes an undefeated seed. We've got quite a few undefeated people here.
Yes, we have, and it's a nice thing for West Dubuque program to have a state champion.
There he is, Mike Schemmel, coached by Tom Kilberg, who will have a thrill too because he'll be able to make the awards. Super heavyweight. The coach of the winning wrestler always gets to hand out the medals and shake the hands. There he is, Mike Schemmel. Now we have awards to give at 2 weights. First of all, the heavyweights. Let's go to 1A. And the awards stand at the end of Veterans Auditorium, where the happy place winners, the top 6, are ready in the Class A division.
Heavyweight awards, Coach Dwayne Allen of North English Valley. 6th place, Dale Veach, Dyke. 5th place, Clark Schneppel, trainer. 4th place, Brad Porterfield, Postville. 3rd place, Ryan Hoig, Traer, North Tama. Runner-up, Mike Hansen, New London. And the 1A heavyweight champion from North English Valleys, Dick Morrison.
Dick Morrison. There he is. And he's the winner at the A division. He won it on a fall. The big win over Mike Hansen, who was standing next to him up on the podium. We're going now to AA division, heavyweight. These are the 185 to 230-pound wrestlers.
Van Horn Benton Community. 6th place, Bob Hoffman, Centerville. 5th place, John Brockway, Mediapolis. 4th place, Kurt Blythe, Williamsburg. 3rd place, Calvin Vandehoff, Sibley. Runner-up, Mark Zinnel, Humboldt. And the 2A heavyweight champion from Van Horn Benton Community, Chad Hennings.
Chad Hennings, who finished an undefeated year with a fine win there over Mark Zinnel, a big win. Happy he quit basketball? I suppose he'd like to do both.
I imagine he's got to be happy.
That's AA. And we're coming up now. People now really coming down out of the stands. A lot of people want to see the team awards. We'll have those for you just very shortly. The AAA winners in the heavyweight division.
Mike Bean of Iowa City, City High. 6th place, Joe McBride, Fort Dodge. 5th place, David Reading, Fort Madison. 4th place, Dave Gulick, Des Moines Hoover. 3rd place, Lou Solari, Ankeny. Runner-up, Kelly Flynn, West Des Moines Dowling. And the Class 3A heavyweight champion from Iowa City, City High, Andy Hammond.
Andy Heyman. His coach, Clyde Bean, was coach of the year, and he's the heavyweight of the year in the AAA division, Andy Heyman. Now there's how it turned out in 1A. Congratulations to several teams there who really got to the top for the first time. Dallas Center by a half a point over Traer of North Tama. But Belle Plaine finished well. Riceville, Manly North Central, and Rock Valley. Now we're getting the awards for the super heavyweights 1A division.
Assistant coach Dick Koob of Manly North Central. 6th place, Todd Davis, Pekin Packwood. 5th place, Kent Bortel, Guthrie Center. 4th place, Clint Riggs, Mount Ayr. 3rd place, Henry Harris, Jewel, South Hamilton. Runner-up, Lee Schwer, Tripola. and the Class 1A Super Heavyweight champion from Manly North Central, Danny Stefani.
He got his team into a tie for 4th place with that quick pin of his in just over a minute at Super Heavyweight. There are the 2A standings. Look at Griswold. Without a state champion, they wrapped it up before the championship round. Osage was favored and didn't win.
It hasn't surprised a lot of people, but I'm sure that Griswold, people are going to be very happy, and it may help wrestling in that part of the state if they see that it can be done. Everybody goes to work.
You bet. Double A now, the winners, Super Heavyweight.
5th place, David Carney, Mount Pleasant. 4th place, Paul Slater, Milford. 3rd place, Jeff Weeks, Preston. Runner-up, Tim Teach, Griswold. And the Class 2A Super Heavyweight champion from Sheldon, Jeff Schwartz.
The only man in the tournament who didn't break a sweat.
Didn't have to shower for 3 days.
He had the fastest fall ever. Well, the 3A winners right there. Dowling had it wrapped up quick. Mason City, as we said, led by Tim Krieger, got up into 2nd place, and Iowa City managed to pull into 3rd ahead of Fort Dodge. Fort Dodge ran into some trouble on Friday, and in the consolations, had a lot of qualifiers, and I'm sure they're a little disappointed.
Central Council Bluffs.
Here's the AAA Super Heavyweight.
Davenport West. 4th place, Darren Storm Spencer. 3rd place, Steve Burden, Davenport Assumption. Runner-up, Craig Cooper Newton. And the Class 3A Super Heavyweight champion from Epworth, Western Dubuque, Mike Schemmel.
And there he is, Mike Schemmel. Well, before the team trophies are awarded, let's have a quick floor report.
For some highlights, this is the 3A match at 105. Chuck Harden of Cedar Rapids Prairie pins